everybody. Welcome to Directly to You. It's our podcast. Who's us? Fanatics 4, me, and I'm AJ, and I'm here with Parker. Say hi, Parker. Hello,
hi, Parker. Hello, Parker. Every time, man, I'm going to do it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Parker says hi. Housekeeping. Nice. You can support this channel by going to youtube.com/fanatics4 or twitch.tv/fanatics4. Give me $4.99 to subscribe and or become a member. You get loyalty badges, gaming time with us, exclusive emotes, freaking gaming time. I said that already, you know?
Switch keys from time to time.
Yeah, free switch keys from time to time, gaming time, and all that great stuff. You get to play and streams and whatnot. And because of Pokemon, there's max raid battles. I'm starting to let people that are supporters join in on the chat. You know, there's a voice chat thing. And because most of our supporters, or all of our supporters, I should say, are more active viewers that I have like an idea of how they are, and I know they're not going to say anything like ridiculous, I let them in on the stream. So like if you want to join in on max raid battles and you want to talk to the people and you won't say anything terrible, that's another incentive.
It's a good caveat, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you can get access to the supporters only Discord, and just the general Discord, but that much is free. It's a good time. Everybody's talking. We have tangents. Videos get made. You know, Accurate. It's a good time, dude. It's a good time. I play Smash Brothers until 4 a.m.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of playing Smash Brothers, what are you playing?
I am playing some games. Yeah.
How dare you?
One of them, I mean, Pokemon, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to talk about one. I got a code yesterday, because it came out yesterday, for The Tourist, which is made by Shin. Probably most people saw it at some point and maybe forgotten about it, but I had not forgotten about it because I thought it looked cool. It was at, I think, the Nindies Direct that was at Gamescom, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It was Indie World.
Yeah, so it was at that one. And it was the game that looks like, it's like a voxel, but like HD voxel kind of thing. So if that refreshes anybody's memory. But it's made by Shinen, which is the company that made Fast RMX and Fast, and mostly Fast RMX is like the notable one. And
Art of Balance.
Oh yeah, they made all the Art of Balance games and stuff. Yeah, and all those games are like notable for looking great, running great, et cetera, et cetera. And this one is the same as far as that stuff goes. It looks, like as soon as I started up, it just looks cute and fun. I played, I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half of it last night. And it's cool. The one question that I do have, and I'll have to update you guys, is I don't know how long it is. It seems like, just based on the pace that I'm kind of going now and what all like the world kind of seems to give, it seems like probably an Untitled Goose Game kind of length, and it's the same price as that. So if that felt like reasonable to you, then this would as well. But the kind of style of it or whatever is, you go to an island, you kind of gain power-ups as you go, but they're not like, you're going through like getting gold at places, and then suddenly like things will unlock in the shop which allow you to do other things. So like I just unlocked the ability to run, which means I can jump further. So if there's big gaps, I can clear those. But so you're just a tourist and you go around on a boat to one island and you do stuff on there. And there's these weird, like, it's kind of like the shrines in Breath of the Wild, honestly. It's like monument things that you go down into, and then there's some puzzle solving in there. And the music is actually a little bit reminiscent to the music in the shrines to me, which I quite enjoy because I liked the music in the shrines a lot. So the aesthetic is like really cool. The puzzles are not super complicated, but feel rewarding enough. And but I only did the first like 2 or 3 levels. I guess 2 levels so far. So I'll have to update you guys on kind of some more about like how it is as far as like pacing and any of that kind of stuff. But it's been fun, and I liked it a lot as of yet. Yeah, there's that.
I've literally only been playing Pokemon with the exception of yesterday.
Yep.
Because there was connection issues. And it seems to be, it seems like it, because at first I thought it was just a me issue. Because like the first time I had a connection issue, it like messed the stream up for like a few seconds.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, maybe it's me. But other people in the chat were like, yeah, it's not working for me. And then people in the Discord were like, yeah, it's not working for me. So it's
interesting.
The amount of people that it was happening to and when specifically it started happening, because I played it earlier that day and I wasn't having any connection issues. It seems like they're tinkering with it on their end.
Interesting.
And because it's like, it's a new error code. Like,
what
when
aspect of the connection is it? I mean, just like...
It would disconnect. It disconnects you from the thing. So like I would sign
from the online stuff specifically?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you know how you have to, like, you're like, you go in the wild, well, you don't have to be in the wild area, but you sign in online, like the old Pokemon games and stuff like that. And then that's when people start populating and then you start seeing the what do they call it? Like the stickers or whatever.
Yeah.
You start to see those. As soon as I did that, and interacted with one of them, or even sometimes before I interacted with them, it would just kick me out and sign me off of the online. And then it's like error code ALZ something. And that's not a Switch, like that's not an established Nintendo Switch error code. And there's not a lot of like, because usually if you look up an error code, they have like articles on their like support page and stuff like that. None of that. It's not on the lookup and stuff like that. So it definitely seems like it's something that's specific to Pokemon, and it seems like it's something just with how many people were experiencing it at the same time.
Yeah,
seems like it's because they're messing with something on their end.
Do you think it's that they're messing with something like, you know, to fix something or whatever on their end?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Versus, could it just be that there's more people playing it at once than they expected, and it's just like server load type issues?
I don't know, because like if that was the case, then I would think more than anything it would have been on the first day. But I had zero connection issues on the first day.
I also wonder,
except for like the general like wild area, like when people are populating a lot, it hitches,
like slows down. Because I wonder, like based on just my kind of flow of it or whatever, I didn't start connecting until about yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever. I guess 2 days ago. So I wonder if maybe that was the only reason I was thinking that, is like if other people had similar kind of flows as me, where they went through and like played the game and then they're like, you know what, let me do some online stuff, and they came in and did that later. That would be my only thought. But yeah, that's weird. Hopefully that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's because they're tinkering.
Yeah.
Because like it's not unplayable usually.
Right.
It was then. But literally not like in the like.
Yeah.
In my opinion, pretentious way of like, oh, this dropped to 20 frames, unplayable. You know? Yeah. But in the literal sense of like, I can't do the thing that I want to do at all.
If you can't, for you right now, like with, so you beat the game. Obviously, you did a review. You got a couple level 100 Pokemon and stuff. Are you at a point where if you can't connect online, there's nothing really that you want to be doing, or there's still stuff?
Nah,
offline?
The point of the stream, because I was streaming it with Bob, was just to like, you know, play the game. But what I wanted to do specifically was I wanted to do raids with people while he did whatever he was going to do.
Right.
And I couldn't do that. So I was like, since I can't do what I want to do, I just like don't really want to play this. But like there's still tons that I could like, I still can like grind in the battle tower because I need battle points so I can get items so I can give them to my Pokemon so they get better stats and like breed, and like there's a lot of stuff I can do.
There's I don't know again if you're going to do your video on this next week.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Okay. That is definitely the next video I'm
cool,
going to do.
Because I was going to say, so yeah, for everybody listening, watch that video. There's a lot of just little elements that some of them are things that like I just again haven't played the newest game in a while, so just don't know about. I mean, the obvious ones are obvious, like abilities, but I don't know really what hidden abilities are. But like I know what IVs are, but don't fully know how EVs integrate, like all that kind of stuff. So I think that'll be cool to get to know all that in one concise video.
Yep.
And stuff.
It'll be a good old time.
Yep.
And speaking of good old time, to derail from Pokemon, because we're going to talk about Pokemon again.
We are going to talk about Pokemon.
I played Smash Brothers.
Nice.
And it was like withdrawal or something, like coming back from that, where I was because I was like, okay, is this specifically a me thing, or even like a Nintendo Switch Online thing? So let's try Smash Brothers. I'm just going to do 1 or 2 matches. So I did 1 match,
you know how that
and
goes.
that worked fine, but I wasn't happy with it because the first person I fought was a Jigglypuff, and they were just like, being real, like,
is Jigglypuff a pretty trolly character?
Huh?
Is Jigglypuff a pretty trolly character?
Can be like
Okay.
you can very easily like camp like crazy with Jigglypuff, and that's what this person was doing. Like they were like out like trying to camp the crap out of me the whole time, and I wasn't being patient enough, and I wasn't used to the game. So I was like, man, I gotta do that. I gotta freaking play the guy,
Yep.
And then I got matched up with another like campy character, so I'm like, all right, I need to like get my bearings back. I need to like play this more because this is unacceptable. So I just freaking played for like 4 hours or something like that. It was a good time. It was fun. I definitely need to play that game. I mean, I'm not going to, but I need to play that game more often to be like as good as possible with Squirtle. The other 2 Pokemon are easy, but Squirtle specifically, you need that like down to the minute like muscle memory going on there. He's too complicated to like, it's not riding a bike easy. It's not like I've learned how to do this when I was 12 and I'll never forget. Like that sort of situation.
I wonder if anybody's ever actually forgotten how to ride a bike.
Probably.
There you go.
There's just Alzheimer's and
that's, I mean, stuff.
So, probably.
But
aside from that sad note, let's talk about the news.
Yeah, Pokemon news is our first thing.
Yes.
We were talking about Pokemon, and we'll have some questions about it too in Q&A. So we'll talk some more about some of our thoughts on various things. But we're going to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. It sold real good.
It sure did,
y'all. So it said it in its first week, but I want to say this was its first
3 days.
Week.
Yeah, all the stuff that Nintendo specifically reported was the first 3 days,
which is insane.
Wild.
So I mean, it's so I was going to too. So Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 6 million copies globally in its first 3 days. So that's by Sunday of last week, the 17th, I guess. And 2 million copies, 2 million of those were in Japan. And so to contrast that, actually, I should have gotten an article up about that. But to contrast that with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, those.
I think worldwide they did 4 million,
or it was 5 million in the first full week, or something maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Something along those lines. I could be off about that. I know at least in Japan. No, again, I should have gotten an article up about this. Pokemon. This game sold better.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever numbers, but it didn't sell as well, I think, as Sun and Moon, but sold better than X and Y, I'm pretty sure.
No. This sold better than those games. Or
what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of specifically Japan's physical sales.
Yeah, physical sales. That was the problem. And see, this is the thing that I struggle with as a person that makes YouTube videos, but also like rather be like upfront and honest about something than to rush to get clicks.
Yeah, right.
I saw some videos, and one video in particular, but I'm not going to call it out, that are like, Pokemon Sword and Shield sales are down, everybody hashtag degs it, you won, dude. And it's like, but we don't even know that. Like, no signs are actually pointing towards that. They're saying like, the physical sales in Japan are down 30% or whatever, but the digital sales are up way more than that. Yeah. So to think like that being down, like math doesn't work like that. Spoilers, math doesn't work like that. If you like double and triple your digital sales, your physical sales are going to lower and they're not going to matter as much. Pro tip. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm being too cynical. Maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they're just stupid. Maybe they're being stupid and they're not trying to play into the narrative and do all that whole thing. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just so frustrating that people like are so bullish on trying to win over a particular fan base than they are. Like, they see like, oh, anybody that's positive about Pokemon Sword and Shield in the early days, at least, because that's what's going to happen. Just like Let's Go, people are going to be like, yeah, it's pretty good, you know. They're like, oh, those videos get bombarded with dislikes, so we gotta also be negative so we can get their likes, you know, because they're way more vocal. They're way more likely to click the like button than the people that are just playing the game and enjoying it.
Yep.
It
would be interesting. I would love to know, like, this is the kind of metric that, you know, you don't ever actually get to know. But, like, what percentage of the Pokemon fandom, or not even what percentage, but, like, how many people were the, you know, bring back national decks, like the toxic fan base or whatever? Like, just, is that, like 50,000 total people? Because, I mean, that's loud on the internet.
I guarantee you. Yeah, that they are a very, 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 very small portion of the overall Pokemon fan base. And like the idea of what the Pokemon fan base is comprised of is already skewed on the internet. Like, just on my video, I'm getting there's a good amount of comments that are like, yeah, but Pokemon is, and again, maybe like I'm semi like guilty, or not guilty, responsible for this perception. They're like, Pokemon is worth X, Y, and Z. It should be, they should do more. And it's like, to some extent, sure, but at the same time, they shouldn't dump all their money into the games, because the games aren't the bulk of their revenue. Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense to say, okay, this makes us $400 million a year. Let's spend the $2 billion that we make a year overall on making a good game. You know, like, it just doesn't make sense to do that. Also, money alone won't fix the situation. And it's going to take longer to fix than people think it will, because like their solution, like and I talked about this before, when it's like, if a comment starts with just, it's probably a bad comment. All those people that are going to say, just take longer, you know, just spend more time. It's like, it's not that simple, because then you throw off the actual breadwinner. Then merchandising is all out of whack. You know, it's like, it just doesn't work like that. I think that they can fix it. But I think it's going to take longer than just like, oh, Pokemon, what did we settle on? Royal Sword and Shield for the next one? Pokemon Royal Sword and Shield. That's when everything's going to be great. That's when we're going to get the perfect Pokemon game that everybody wants. Maybe Gen 9. Maybe. Yeah, I think, but it's going to go ahead. Oh no, yeah, we had some interesting discussions, I think, in the Discord this week about stuff. And Justin made an interesting clarification that I thought was good, of like, as far as the progress that this game has made and all that kind of stuff, like, he was kind of, or I gathered from him that his perception was, if this is the landing point, like if this is where they think that they want to be in the end, then that's really disappointing. But if this is just like, well, this is the next step, then that's fine. Like, whatever, you know, we made some progress, we lost some things, we're gonna, you know, gain and lose some more things in the future or whatever. And I think, I mean, I totally agree, in the sense that, like, if every other game is exactly copy paste from the framework that this one made, then that would also be stale. But I think we know from them, or I would think at least that we know from them, that every game they do continue to try to push something forward. But this is the first game that they've, I think, pushed forward in more directions than they have in other ones, because they've sacrificed some stuff to be able to do that. And I think a lot of that too, because they were coming to terms with like a new engine, or I don't know about a new engine or any of that kind of stuff, specifically on the tech side. I mean, it's most likely a relatively new engine. Yeah. And it's a new engine to this specific team. Right. I mean, but it seems like it's the Let's Go engine.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, it's them developing for, you know, HD for the first time. So like, that's, you know, that does probably take some sacrifices. So then at that point they had to decide, like, okay, what can we promise will be done by November 15th? Because otherwise there's just no way at that point. Like, it's better to make even though like people were complaining about some glitches and stuff like that, like, these days every single game, even back in the day, like every game had some kind of glitches, but like none of them are major at all. It's I don't know, those things don't really matter. But like, what could they promise by November 15th that they were proud of in some regard? And then I think they'll just keep making progress from there, you know?
Yeah.
Seems to be the trend.
I think that's definitely a good point on Justin's end, but I think that it's kind of cynical to even like give the impression that this is even possibly their end point.
Right.
Because
for National Dex reasons alone.
Yeah, with the DS and the 3DS games, because those are the only platforms where we got multiple. If we don't count Game Boy, like Game Boy Color, like that whole situation with how the first Pokemon games were Game Boy games, but then get Game Boy Color. For the most part, we get one Pokemon game per, or one new generation per platform.
Right.
With everyone that we've had in that way, where we have multiple per platform, they use what they did last time to grow on the next thing. And I think this will be no different. I think we'll see improvements on Sword and Shield with the Gen 4 remakes. I think we'll see improvements from that be continued into the next game. There might be little bits and pieces that we miss, like maybe the Gen 4 remakes won't have a wild area equivalent, but it'll have other improvements that then seep their way into the Sword and Shield like third versions. And then we'll go from there.
Yep.
I think there's no way that they're just going to do another like exactly Sword and Shield, because they never have done that before. And I know that the popular thing right now is to be like, it's just another Pokemon game, but that is just not true. Like, it's not true. Pokemon Sword and Shield is better in every way, with the exception of maybe Heart Gold, and that's just because there's more content with the 2 regions and all those stuff.
I mean, and also like saying it's just another such and such game, like that kind of depends on how you boil that down to, as far as like, yeah, it's just another game where you go around and catch Pokemon and battle the Pokemon in turn-based combat. Like, that's definitely true. There's still 8 gyms that you do in a linear format. Like, yeah, it would be cool if they didn't have to be linear. Like, there's definitely some creative ideas that could happen around those that probably would break the narrative of it's just another blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, similarly, you could say that about, like, a Mario game is just another Mario game. Like, oh, well, Mario 64 is jumping around in 3D space, and a Mario Odyssey is jumping around in 3D space. And it's like, yeah, but they're different.
And in that regard, it's true. It is another Pokemon game, but it's one of the best ones. So to sit there and use that as a reductive statement is just like you're grasping at straws here at that point.
Yeah.
Where, yes, it's another Pokemon game, and that's exactly what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
There's little things that are like subjective of, because on one end, some people would prefer there to be like less Pokemon because of the battling system and stuff like that. And if they can like make more Pokemon viable, and instead of having 8 Pokemon that everybody cycles between, we can have more because they culled the whole bunch of them and then made sure the people that were there's a good amount that are usable. I think that's an improvement there, and every other way in terms of like the post game and stuff like that. It's so much more geared towards making your Pokemon better. Like, everything that you do is about making your Pokemon better, or testing if it's good enough. You know.
Yep. Well, luckily the fans in general don't seem to be snubbing Pokemon Sword and Shield, but you know who did? The Game Awards.
I mean, they didn't. Yeah. It's because they have like
they didn't really.
They have deadlines and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so, and it did, like, it technically it made the cutoff as far as
it did? Oh, okay.
It did make the cutoff, but I think at the same time it probably didn't make, just on like a subjective level, didn't really make the cutoff, because same goes for Jedi Fallen Order.
The committee and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, they didn't have enough time to play it enough to render a verdict.
Yeah. I think that's probably exactly the case, because that and Jedi Fallen Order, like, I don't know, just because a lot of Pokemon games haven't gone up for awards, I think it probably would have gone up for Family Game you know, or it very well could have if it came out a week or two earlier or something like that. But otherwise, you know, it makes sense that it didn't end up showing up here. But I figure Jedi Fallen Order probably would have showed up somewhere because that's a Game Awards type variety game. So that stuff. But yeah, we got some Game Awards stuff to go through a little bit, and we won't go in like super detail because otherwise we'll be here forever. And also we're not super into a lot, like some of these categories. I don't have a dog in the fight.
We can do like rapid fire,
yes. And then we'll just stop on the ones that
specific ones. Yeah, like which ones do we think we want to win or whatever.
Yes, and that's then what just I was thinking. Also, so I'm going off the Wikipedia page just because it's an easier layout for all this stuff. But that means that it's in kind of a weird order. So Game of the Year, we'll just go for this one first because it's got some in there. You don't really have any games in here that you care about, literally at all.
Not a single one. Never played any of these games, dude.
But no, we've got Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Smash Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds.
Sekiro, dude. Sekiro all the way. But no, that's the only other one on here that I played any amount of time of.
Yep. Obviously Smash.
Yeah, Smash. Yeah. Duh.
I think otherwise for me, like if it weren't for Smash, I didn't play any of the other games because I only have a Switch. Everybody knows that. But like of the stuff that I've seen, most of these make sense. I don't know enough about Control to say one way or another.
Yeah, but Control seems kind of weird. I don't know if Control had enough of the zeitgeist to like.
I've definitely heard a lot more middling conversations around Control, just from the sounds of it. So, but I don't know enough. I haven't even looked into it enough to really have an opinion. And then Death Stranding is obviously an interesting one. I don't think there's any, like the whole Jeff Keighley, nepotism kind of thing. I don't think there is really anything of that there, because if there were risk of that, I don't know. Here's what I do think. I think there are definitely games that are talked about within the kinds of crowds that are within the Game Awards, type people. Like, so I think like definitely the fact that Death Stranding has showed up there so many times means that people would end up thinking about it more for this conversation. But I don't think, he would have any influence over that. But that's not to say he couldn't, but
I think he would.
I'm optimistic.
I think he does. I don't know if like that means it's going to win, but I definitely think he was like the loudest person in the room with like, it needs to be on this list for these categories.
Well, but apparently, I mean, from what we're to understand from at least previous years and what they say for this year too, is that he doesn't actually have any say of, like, he's not part of the committee that decides which games show up on this list. He just, I guess, helps, decide which people do, maybe, I guess.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
Who's to say?
I don't know if I buy that. But fine.
Yep. Yeah. Nevertheless, I mean, I definitely, like one of my coworkers is playing it and is in love with it, and which is funny.
Playing it. For people that can't see the camera, I did air quotes.
But yeah, he's super into it. And then he was telling Mitch about it, and Mitch is like thinking about playing it. But he sent me. Mitch really likes watching donkey videos, and he sent me the donkey review of Death Stranding, and he's like, hey, I want to watch this, but I don't want to be spoiled on it in case I play it. So like, can you watch it and let me know? And so I watched it, and I came back and I was like, so here's the thing, Mitch, definitely won't give you any spoilers, but also he does not feel the same way about it as Billy does. So like, totally up to you. So it's an interesting thing all in all. But as far as these goes, yeah, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I'm kind of surprised that it managed to make this only because of the timing of it. Like, it's the fact that it managed to stay relevant all year long is like speaks volumes, I think. Because, most of the time stuff that comes out the past year just gets forgotten about if it missed last year's cutoff.
Yeah. I mean, it should have won last year too, for being real, for being honest.
Double years. It is kind of surprising that it didn't show up in Best Ongoing Game, which is the next category that we're not really going to go into because whatever.
No Nintendo stuff.
But just a little bit surprising that it didn't get in there. Actually, I'll go in this order.
Never mind, Fortnite's on there. That's a Nintendo thing.
That is a Nintendo thing. That's true.
Fortnite wins, dude. Why isn't Overwatch on there? That doesn't make any sense.
That's a good question.
Fortnite wins. I don't care about Fortnite, but it's one of ours, dude. So we gotta.
I think I voted for like I haven't played any of the games on this one. Just from what I've seen about it, I think I voted for Final Fantasy 14 on that. Because I mean that's a pretty Parker game, all things considered.
I think I voted for Apex Legends.
Nice. There you go. There's that.
But the official Fanatics 4 vote is different from both of our independent votes as Fortnite, dude.
Just because it's on Switch. All right. We're down. Best game direction doesn't have any Nintendo stuff, so we're gonna skip over it for now.
That's not true. Sayonara Wild Hearts and
on best. No, I said game direction. Silly. I'm going zigzag now. I changed my.
You're not on the order on here, man. Dude.
I don't know. I'm
on Wikipedia, man.
Yeah, I'm going top left, then top right, then next one down. I messed it up in the first one, but it doesn't matter. We're skipping over game direction anyway. And then, best ongoing game, best narrative. Also, was Disco Elysium on Switch?
I don't know, dude. I never heard that game in my life.
Yeah, me neither, but it showed up here all the time. So, I don't know. I'm missing out on something, I guess. So there you go. We're skipping over that one. Best art direction. This one does have, for sure, some Nintendo thingies.
Yup.
So we got Control, Death Stranding, Grease, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sekiro, and Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
I don't know, man. Link's Awakening, I guess.
It's hard to say, I think, for this, because like I feel like you could take art direction in a lot of different directions, and it's hard to take that out of the context of the rest of the game too, because like I really liked Grease's art direction just from the little bits of it that I saw. Like I thought isn't it
Gris?
So it's not, because it's so gris is French for Spanish, but this is French for gray, but this is actually supposed to be Spanish, which the S is pronounced, interestingly enough. Cool. So there you go, but it does still just mean gray. Okay. But yeah, Gris, that game is a thing. I don't know if it were just like a single snapshot. I think I personally like the art direction for Grease better than I do even Link's Awakening. But the whole game, obviously, I'm more of a Link's Awakening fan.
I really only said that because that's the only one that I spend any real time with, and I do like its art direction because I like the whole tilt shift thing. See, the thing is, like, people that don't know much or anything about like photography don't like this effect, because they're like, I don't like the blurry and stuff like that. But I'm like, I think it's cool because it's I think
it's cool too. I really do like it. There's a
realistic bend to it where it's like, I still want somebody to make a diorama and do like a let's play in that. Like, that's what I want them to do. That'd be so freaking dope.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So Link's Awakening for me. I think Sayonara Wild Hearts looks neat, but I only saw it in trailers.
Yeah.
I have it on my phone, but like, when am I ever going to play a game on my phone, dude? Like,
oh yeah, speaking of which, I barely played Mario Kart Tour this week. So look at that.
You're recovering. Good.
So there's that for you. I think really, to better answer that question for me, like, I think Link's Awakening had, I don't know, art direction was great. I think just Grease looked really pretty. As like, if I were to have a painting, I'd rather have a painting of Grease than Link's Awakening, but playing it wise, like, Link's Awakening was great. So
I think you have a more developed opinion on this particular category, so your opinion will be the official Fanatics 4 vote, dude.
Cool. Works for me.
Congratulations.
Best score / music. Here we go. Cadence of Hyrule, Death Stranding, Devil May Cry 5.
That wins, dude. That wins. Which one wins.
Cadence of Hyrule?
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, I agree. Although, I mean, from what I've heard, Sayonara Wild Hearts seems like it's pretty cool too. Death Stranding seems a bit like a cop-out to me, because
there's like a lot of like licensed stuff in there.
Which seems like it at that point, does GTA win and like, any of those racing games?
It probably was nominated.
I just don't feel like, I mean, if it were the Grammys and it was like best what's the word I'm looking for, not collaboration album, but best like compilation album, like that's what it feels more like. It's like, that doesn't really count.
See, and also I guess it depends on like in what context you're looking at this for. Because like if it's like which one's well, then again, no, never mind. I changed my mind. I was about to say because like my initial thought, and this was like before even in my head associating what Cadence of Hyrule was gameplay wise. I just was like, oh, that has Zelda music, dope, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, but like, is that even the parameters there? Like, is it how that works in the context of the game? And I was like, wait, it's a rhythm game. So like, it's like Cadence of Hyrule wins, dude, by all accounts. But also, did you say the other Devil May Cry 5 and then Kingdom Hearts 3? Yep. Kingdom Hearts 3 has some bops, dude, because the lady, I don't remember her name, but the one that copyright claims everybody's videos. You know,
way to go, lady.
She has some good songs, but like at the same time, effort, you know, dude, because like she copyright claims everybody's videos.
That's true. Yeah, that's pretty lame. So there you go. There's that. Yeah, my vote's definitely for Cadence of Hyrule there. I think, again, I don't have even an informed enough opinion on Devil May Cry 5 or Kingdom Hearts 3, or even really Sayonara Wild Hearts, but Cadence of Hyrule was dope.
Official vote. There it is.
There it is.
Put the sticker on the box.
Yep. Best audio design. No Nintendo, so we're going to skip it for now. Best performance. Also, we're not really mentioning which things that we feel like were skipped over or anything like that, like missed out on. But in this one, I really feel like Claude from Fire Emblem deserved a shout out. Like, I thought his performance as Claude was like real good.
You know who I think did a good job? I think Polterpup did great, and it's a disservice.
I mean, Luigi also. Yeah.
Nah, man, he's just being Luigi. He's not acting. But Polterpup, he doesn't like Luigi in real life. You really think he likes Luigi? There's no way. There's no way, dude.
He's acting so well. Yeah, that stuff. I mean, I did think also, not that they wouldn't show up on here, but Will and Bob's point on Mads Mikkelsen and Norman Reedus being on here feels a bit cheap, just because it's like they're like Hollywood actors and stuff like that. Does feel a little bit like, you know, nominating major leagues in the AAA leagues or something like that. Or but nevertheless, So in any case, I don't know most of the other people in there, but there's that.
Polterpup wins. Official vote
wins. Games for Impact. Grease is in here, so that's on Switch. I don't know what. Not having played any of these games, I don't really know what the themes are of any of them. So I know
Concrete Genie's like
it's like bullying, kind of
something. Yeah,
so
it's
that's
like
a thing.
It was like graffiti or something like that in that game.
I'm guessing Grease is kind of. From just the little bits I saw, I need to pick that game up. I've been wanting to for a while. Like, I keep looking at it and being like, yeah, I should play that.
They sent it to me, but I gave it to Grimhane.
Hey, Grimhane, how'd you like it? Tell me words. It seems like it might be kind of within a, like, mental health kind of thing, you know, sort of like Celeste or whatever. But I don't know that this category would just have games that apply every year. Like, sometimes I wonder if this is a category that's just going to we're just going to put in the games that have it. So, yeah, nevertheless. Moving on. Best indie game. This is a bunch of ones that are on Switch. Baba Is You, Disco Elysium, Katana Zero, Outer Wilds, and Untitled Goose Game.
Oof, dude. Oof.
Agreed.
I'm either going Katana Zero or Untitled Goose Game. I never played Baba Is You, and Outer Wilds. I get confused with Outer Worlds. So like, I think that says enough for how much that game matters, you know?
Must be. I definitely have heard some great things about Outer Wilds, especially like some of the guys at the Loot Pots.
What is that game? What is it?
I think it's like a walking sim kind of a thing. I don't know.
Then automatically it doesn't count. It's not a game, not a real game.
It's like like within the vein of like Firewatch or something along those lines.
Or Death Stranding. Yeah,
right. Right. So I really don't know. Of these, I've only played Untitled Goose Game, and I thought it was great. Max was like, if this wins because it memes its way up to the top, like, that's lame. But no, it was like legitimately fun and hilarious to play. So like, I mean, if it won just because of the like cultural meme of like how silly it would be for it to win, that's kind of different. But honestly, like Undertale kind of memed its way to the top back in its day as well. Like that was its whole thing.
I don't know. I think that part of what's great about being an independent developer end game is that you're able to make this kind of impact with whatever vision you have.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that Untitled Goose Game even exists says a lot to it in the sense that like how big it is, you know, like how recognizable it is, and the fact that it took over as a meme. There's a lot of stupid like ideas that are like, or not, I don't mean stupid as in like that's a bad idea, but like who would have ever made a game about this, you know? There's a lot of stuff like that doesn't make it this far, like Panty Party or whatever is not on this list. So I think that it speaks a lot to how good the game actually is, and it's just a plus that the game's a meme, you know?
Right. I agree, because I had fun playing it, but I also very much had fun showing it to Ashley and letting her play it, and showing it to my parents and showing it to friends and stuff, like, and that's something, if nothing else. But also I just had fun playing it, and the last scene of the game too, where you beat it, is very fun. I won't say any more about it, but it's a good time. So yeah, there's that.
But also Katana Zero is good. Still I'm voting, and I also already voted. I voted for Untitled Goose Game because that's the one that stuck out, you know? True.
I would like to play Baba Is You, and I should find out more about Outer Wilds, I guess. But I don't know.
I don't even like. I thought this game came out like that. Like to me, I think we heard. No, maybe we didn't. I don't know. It just felt like this was like a launch. Like, you know, like came out like year one. I'm always like, when I hear about this game or even saw it on the list, I'm like, that came out this year.
There's a lot of stuff like that. I can't remember what it was. I mean, I guess just the fact that like I've only been doing Fanatics 4 with you since the beginning of the year. It feels like anything that happened this year was like, that was like Yoshi's Crafted World does not feel like that was this year. Yeah. But it was, you know, so crazy. Best mobile game? Who cares? Best VR AR game? Yep, sure thing.
Wait, Sayonara Wild Hearts is on best mobile game. That's the Switch game. I think I picked
What the Golf though, to be honest, because that just seems like it's. I don't know much about it, but like people seem to enjoy it, and it just seems funny. Like memed its way to the top for me. So there you go. But also, Sayonara Wild Hearts is apparently good. I just haven't played it myself. So
official vote. It's on the Switch. There it is.
Our official votes are very easy then. For some of these categories, at least. Family game, it's going to be very hard one to go for it. Best VR AR game. We're all very offended that Labo VR did not show up.
How dare you, dude?
It's high quality as can be. Moving on. Dare you. Best action game. Apex Legend, Astral Chain, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus.
Astral Chain's a Switch game, but like I can't in good faith give it that, you know. So official vote is the official vote is Gears 5, honorary Nintendo game. I also didn't play that. Well, I played Astral Chain, but
you didn't love Astral Chain. I've yet to play. Actually, you know what? I'll play that off your account at some point because.
It's not even on my account, dude. It's on Brooklyn's account.
Oh,
you on Brooklyn's
that's
account?
Right. Yeah, no, we're good then. Man. Yeah, because that's one that at this point, without like the fact that it's kind of been a while since it came out, if I want to play it, I don't know. Like I'm just behind on a lot of other games, and that's not at the top of my list. Yeah, I'll hit you up.
You'll probably be asleep when you're awake anyway.
That's true. Actually, yeah, Max. That way we can trade other games as well. That could be fun. We'll talk about it. But yeah, Astral Chain, some people seem to love it. So hopefully that gets the vote for you Switch fans out there.
But it's not getting the official one. That's Gears 5.
Sure.
Put the sticker on the box.
Again, just stealing a bit from Wolf Den conversation, but action game, like, I don't know. To me, action game doesn't apply or doesn't imply like shooters and stuff like that as being the same thing. I mean, I get it because like it's an active game, you know, where you're like doing a lot of things, and it's like Twitch shooter, that kind of thing, where like, yeah, you're going around and doing a lot of stuff. But as far as like the concept of like, this is an action game, like, no, if you look up Call of Duty, it's going to say it's a first person shooter. Like, it's not going to mention action anywhere there. So kind of weird, but I mean, whatever.
Speaking of that, the dumbest category, because like, what even does it mean? The action adventure, like what?
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, first of all, how is Sekiro and Death Stranding the same genre?
Right, yeah, that's a very good point. Honestly, like, I could see Sekiro being closer within the action genre, kind of. Not really. I mean, it's more of like a role-playing game in that sense, which is not on the role-playing list. It's odd. Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, best action adventure game. We got Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Link's Awakening, dude.
Link's Awakening was great. I mean,
the Game Boy version.
No, yeah, it was...
Because people are going to say, remakes can't win, so like, the Game Boy version one.
Just threw it up there. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, Resident Evil 2 is up there too, and that's a remake, so there you go.
Oh yeah, that's true. And when I said Game of the Year with Smash Brothers, Will was like, nah, it's this game. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, crazy times. Moving on. Best role-playing game.
No,
never mind.
You know what? I dropped the ball. I should have said, okay, Boomer. That's what I should have said. That's what I should have said. Dude.
Man, that meme is quickly getting overused to the point where, like, I mean, it's
it
funny.
Immediately got overused as soon as like people that are over like the age of 17 figured out what the meme was. It got overused.
But it's just like, because I think it's funny in the context with you and Will, because the joke of him being old, which he's not. He's what, 32?
Yeah. See, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
otherwise it wouldn't be a joke too.
It's slowly changing to now Will being the one that I call old.
Yeah.
Even though it should have always been that, but I just thought it was funnier to call Bob old. Yep. Even though like Will is because he like embraces like he's not old, but he acts old. Yeah. So it's like it should have always been him, but I just thought it was funnier to do Bob.
Indeed. Moving on. This one it actually doesn't have any Switch games in it, which is best role-playing game. We got Disco Elysium, which again still don't really know what that is. Final Fantasy 14, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and The Outer Worlds. This seems weird to me that like Fire Emblem isn't here. For one thing,
yeah, how dare they, dude?
Like, they have 6 of them in a lot of these categories, so they could just add it in there, because like it's an RPG. I mean, it's a strategy RPG, but like that's an RPG, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was great, so I don't know what they're doing.
I don't care about this category because I started Kingdom Hearts 3 but didn't finish it, dude, and don't plan to do so.
I'm gonna say Iceborne on Mitch's behalf because he is all into that. Moving on, best fighting game.
Okay, so that's the official Fanatics 4 vote. Even though like I would never actually play that game, even though like Pokemon, the Wild Area is 100% a Monster Hunter game. It definitely is, and I understand. I understand. But I don't understand, you know?
So deep.
Wow. I understand the appeal of like the loop now, but I only like the loop because I like Pokemon.
Right.
I don't understand the liking the loop because you like Monster Hunter, because like they're just like monster dudes and like burly.
I think I get the loop for sure.
Cats, for you know, there's cats.
There are cats. Cats are great. Gotta love cats.
I mean, cats are okay.
No,
like
they're
kind of evil deep inside, but like they're fine.
I definitely understand. I haven't enjoyed a ton of. I've only played a little bit of Monster Hunter, so I'm kind of just waiting until if another Switch one comes out, then I'll try to get on board on that one. But the gameplay so far, I'm not like, I don't love slow combat, you know, like, I mean, it's intentionally slow in the same way that like, even when I play Dark Souls, like I play with a really light sword so I can just like, you know, kind of hack and slash sort of thing. And you can do that, I'm pretty sure, in Monster Hunter, but most of the weapons seem like they're very cumbersome, intentional things. which is like, that's just the way it is on purpose. But I also could be very misinformed that's maybe there's more of it that's like that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, all that to say, I get the loop for sure. But I would have to like really get into it more to get the actual gameplay and all that. So,
yep.
Moving on. My dog's barking in the background. Best fighting game: Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Jump Force. Man.
Obviously, Jump Force.
Clearly. But no, like this is the Smash Bros. Category. Right. Thanks for coming. Here's your participation.
It is funny to me still. I'll still see people be like, except for Smash Brothers isn't a fighting game. And I'm like,
yeah, and those people are dumb. About? See, like I want every single person that says Smash Brothers isn't a fighting game to 1v1 me, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what because I mean, is that the idea is it's not a fighting game, it's a party game, and it's
which is so stupid.
Yeah, and it doesn't have like a high skill ceiling or something like that. Is that what they're saying?
Also a dumb. I
absolutely.
think
yeah.
There's some of both of that.
Yeah.
That is the logic behind it. It's like some people feel that like one way, some people feel the other, some people feel a combination of both.
Yep.
For the people that say Smash Bros. Isn't because they're stupid. Mm-hmm. So moving on.
It was somebody commented on my the like buyer's guide 2019 or whatever video where I said Smash Brothers is now the highest selling fighting game of all time. And somebody commented like, oh, yeah, except for that it's not a fighting game, which is like, first of all, that's what the news articles are, is like saying that it's the highest selling fighting game of all time. So like, you don't have to take it up with me. But also,
like, I'm pretty sure the developer of the game knows what kind of game it is better than you do.
Yeah.
So like,
it's funny. Nevertheless, whatever. But yeah, Smash obviously wins that one. Moving on. And we're almost done with these guys here. Obviously, we're not doing any of the esports one because...
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Best family game. This is our category, y'all. Here we go. Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Yoshi's Crafted World.
Okay, here's the thing. Listen to me.
No, you can't make me.
I liked all these games, except for I never played Ring Fit Adventure in my life. But like Smash Brothers, dude. The rest of them are great.
I want to say I voted Luigi's Mansion 3 on this one.
How dare you?
For the purposes, for one thing, that Smash is definitely going to win at least one other award. Like, it's definitely going to win fighting game, and hopefully it wins Game of the Year.
Listen.
So Luigi's Mansion 3 is down.
Listen. Can you play Luigi's Mansion 3 with your entire family? No, you cannot.
What if my entire family is me and Ashley and two dogs that don't know how the F to play video games?
Exactly, but they can. Give them a single Joy-Con, dude. There you go. 4-player Smash.
Yeah, they'll be broken in like...
your in-laws coming over, give them 2 more controllers each. They can both play with the single Joy-Con each.
I'll say for sure for my family, Ashley and I have played much more Luigi's Mansion 3 together than we played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate together.
How dare you?
So there you go. So that's my pick for that.
That's blasphemous.
But, and also like, for sure, Smash.
The Fisher Fanatics 4 pick is Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah, all right, good stuff. Best strategy game. This one's really obvious. It's Fire Emblem. There's some other ones on there. Wargroove, that's notable. That's fun. I don't know what literally any of the other ones are because I'm uninformed.
Wargroove was on there.
Yeah, Wargroove's on there, so that's cool. But Fire Emblem obviously wins because classic,
Fire Emblem. It's the only strategy game I ever gave a crap about, and that was even shocking,
Best sports/racing games. There's a bunch on here, but Crash Team Racing, y'all.
Yeah, even though you know what? It gets extra points for being the only Crash Bandicoot game. Okay, moving
on. Best multiplayer game. Tetris 99's on here. Tetris 99's pretty cool. So there you go.
Borderlands 3 because it'll make Will mad.
Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, Tetris 99, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Literally all these are shooters except for Tetris 99.
Hey, Tetris is a shooter, man. It's a battle royale game.
Other people's hearts down.
Yeah,
you're saying,
exactly.
Get out of here.
You're shooting
I'm
them out of the game.
Once
you get a Tetris, that's what happens. That's what the game doesn't tell you. When you when you max out and you put the long piece in the right place, dude.
Yep.
That person gets shot.
Oh wow.
That's what they never tell you, man.
I've been shot many times in that case.
No, it
only happens to other people.
Yeah, it only no, it happens to your proxy because you have a YouTube channel and a podcast, so you're invulnerable to video game real life effects.
Wow, that's so awesome. More people should have YouTube channels.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to live and you play Tetris 99, make a YouTube channel immediately.
Fresh indie game. This is the one for new developers. This is their first game. So the developer for Disco Elysium, for Greece, for My Friend Pedro, Outer Wilds, for Slay the Spire, and for Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game, dude. You guys did a great job. You made the memeiest meme of all time.
They did indeed. Slay the Spire, shout out to that also. Mitch played it a bunch, and I played it a little bit with him, and it's fun. It's good. But Untitled Goose Game, house. That's what's up. They dope. And
yeah, they have 2 houses and a goose.
3 gooses and a gander. Best community support, and this is the last one we're going to go through. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
Fortnite, they gave their community a black hole for days.
For whole days, y'all. So there you go.
Days.
So that's some Game Awards stuff. We'll talk about a little bit more of like our personal picks for various things that aren't, within those specific awards, like our game of the year and all that.
We actually played.
We'll talk about that closer to the end of the year, probably.
Spoilers: Smash Brothers won't be eligible because it was my game of the year last year.
Accurate.
So I can't say Smash Brothers. Yep. But like, also spoilers. What is the other game that like I only play? So like, you probably know, dude.
Mine is a little bit more tricky. Who's to say?
Parker's just Untitled Goose Game.
Mine's New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. You know what's up.
That came out this year?
Yeah, it did.
Oh my god, dude.
That's for sure Ashley's game of the year because that's the one she's played by far the most. So that's
wow.
Yep.
Wow, Marriage. What a year, man. What a year.
I know. All right, some last news things. Actually, a real quick one. I'm going to go out of order here. Nintendo has an Amazon merch store. Check it out if you want to.
Cool.
They got merch. So there you go. And then
merch.
Google Stadia launch. I think we've got some Q&A, so we might just talk about this a little bit more in those. But Google Stadia launched this week, and Amazon is rumored to have a streaming service as well, which I don't even have an article for that in here because it's just a rumor. But apparently, they're planning on doing a similar kind of cloud streaming thing next year. I don't even know the grounds of that rumor, but interesting to think about, nevertheless. Do you have any thoughts on this, on the Google Stadia things this week and all that? I've got a couple.
Google Stadia. I wanted I put a whole bunch of the reviews for Google Stadia in my watch later. Never watched later, dude. Never did it. So I don't know.
I very intermittently remember about the watch later function, and I'll be like, oh, I can't watch anything right now, but this does look interesting. So I'll put 3 or 4 videos in my watch later and then forget to go back to it until 4 months later and be like, oh yeah, I don't care about those anymore. So there's that for you. But yeah. So Google Stadia, it happens. I think the biggest bit of this, and it's the link that I put in the whatever thing we call this in the doc, is just how much stuff that they promised would be in there that isn't in there, and that's pretty lame. And then just on top of that too, eventually, so right now it's super limiting the way I feel like that you can play. I mean, so you can play on a Pixel phone, a Pixel Slate, or tablet or whatever, in the Chrome browser or a Chromecast, and specifically the Chromecast Ultra, which is the new one, I guess. And that's cool. But you still need to get hardware for those, as opposed to kind of the promise was you don't need to get any hardware at all. Cool. You can just do it on whatever you got, which is maybe eventually that'll be true, but so far it's not.
Well, I mean, it said you could do it in a Chrome browser.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. I mean, so everybody has a Chrome browser.
Yeah.
But I think, at the same time, at that point, I mean, yeah, that definitely does close up a big demographic of I have a computer, but it's a really weak computer. Honestly, my PC, then that means that I'd be able to play something that I otherwise wouldn't. So that's one hurdle I think that they're going to have to overcome eventually, is have it be on everything so that literally everybody has easy access to the place they want to play it on. If I wanted to play it on my phone, for example, then right now I can't. And but eventually, hopefully you should be able to.
I think the biggest thing that crushed this for me, even though I was never actually gonna want to do this because I don't want to play games like that anyway.
Yeah.
But like I saw a lot of promise in it because I assumed they were just going to do a subscription.
That's
like
yes. That was the next thing.
Like
exactly,
if it was a subscription, that would kill.
Yep.
But the fact that it's like you have to buy the games, then it becomes a lot more like nebulous of like whether that's a worthwhile investment and all that stuff. That's when all the stuff that people were saying beforehand, where it's like Google likes to drop these pet projects and you know like that whole thing. That's when that becomes an issue.
If they addressed that honestly out the gate, where if they were like, on the off chance that we do close down at some point, this is what we're going to do. If they provided a solution to that, honestly, that would fix it for some people.
I think they could. I think they very easily could. I think they could,
like, but I don't think they will.
Give Valve a bunch of money and say, "Hey, if you have this game, you're good. Get the Steam version or whatever." Right.
So I think. I mean, in the way that I think of it from a like PR standpoint, is the number of people that are worried about that is, you know, like that's a number of people for sure. But the number of people that would be aware of that situation if Google made proactive PR about it would be even more people. So they just don't even want to probably talk about it to some degree, I would guess, in a similar way to like with Game Freak and Pokemon, them like explaining the national dex being cut. If they were to go into like tons of detail, I think there's really good reasons. But then those would be reasons that we talked about this a little bit in the Discord with some of the folks, but like I think there would be reasons that would make us, the people who are frustrated about it, maybe more I mean, not me, I don't really care. But people that are affected, you know, would feel better about it if they knew all of the reasons. Like somebody, I think in the Spawncast, maybe they talked about like, there's rumors that there was an importer from the 3DS that fell through or didn't work. So they actually just had to create the same models from scratch that they weren't able to future-proof like they wanted to, or something like that, which like, yeah, that takes a lot of time. But then if they come forward and say that, then that's active bad PR as opposed to silent bad PR, you know, which is like easier.
I think that anytime you bring up some type of technical thing that people don't understand on that scale and never will, there's always going to be some armchair dude or maybe somebody that's opened Maya a few times.
Right.
And they're going to say, well, I can do it. Or like now, right, where it's like, there's like all these YouTube videos and articles of like, modders are fixing the trees in the wild area. It's like, it's not the same thing. Like you don't have the same overhead that they do. And plus, I guarantee that that's introducing a bunch of other problems that's not getting publicized.
Yeah, I mean, because part of it also is like, yeah, you could fix some of these things, but then also because of Pokemon popping up in the overworld, we're going back to Game Freak now, but just like to kind of, you know, move the point along. It could bottleneck the software and stuff like that, and like make the hardware run slower. Yeah, I don't know, whatever technical things on that front where it's like, yeah, you can fix it, but it'll cause other issues that a game developer would be aware of on a grand scale. So I think with
the gist of it is just like, I don't think it's a good idea to even give those reasons.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
People think they know more than what they do. So when you give a reason, they'll say, well, you can, you know how like they talk a lot about how like the difference between like men and women is like when a woman is like venting about her problems, she doesn't always want you to try to solve that problem. But the inclination of a man is to be like, well, you can do X. That's what everybody's being the metaphorical man in this situation, where it's like I guarantee they thought of the solution. Exactly. Yeah. I guarantee they thought of whatever solution you're thinking of. Yeah. But they tried it and it broke something else that wasn't worth that.
Yeah.
So it's just like chill out and be a consumer and not actually try to be a developer. And you know what? Being a consumer I'm not telling you to buy the thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying instead of trying to explain away why you're so much better than they are or why they could do what you think they should have to do and stuff like that, just don't buy the thing. You know?
Yep. So I think with the Google Stadia comparison, or coming back to that, the issue is that we don't have the answer for that kind of thing, but it's not really clear that there will be one. Like if they shut down their doors, am I just out the $60 of that game that I bought on discount maybe and then never started playing or something? Somebody look at the terms of service,
dude. Somebody look at it.
Yeah. So
because the answer will be in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's a really big question with that. I think you're totally right. Subscription model, that's exactly what I was thinking as well, is the way the xCloud is going to do it as far as having Game Pass integrated is perfect, because then people are like, okay, yeah, I can get all these games right now. And honestly, like, they're going to make more money off of that, because even like we've got the AMC A-list things where we can like go to a movie every month. And there's been so many months that just like have gone by and we're like, oh man, we didn't go to a single movie. And like, they just got our money.
I mean, granted, I didn't pay full price for Games Pass. I took advantage of that deal, and then it compounded with all my Xbox Gold and stuff like that. But I bought that, and I haven't played my Xbox in like 3 months now or something like that. Last time we did a Minecraft stream, it's the last time I played my Xbox. And before that, never, dude. So it's like, they're just getting free money off of stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's I'm not going to say disappointing, because like I'm not Google, I don't get anything for their bottom line,
right?
But like, it's bad for them, dude. They could have really actually been a player in this space if they went with a subscription model.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of this more stuff as we go down and talking about. You'll see, it'll happen when it happens. But that's it for the news for right now, in any case. And we're going to go to the comments from AJ's video. You guys comment, and we read some of them sometimes. And here they are. There's that for you. First one we got from Blind Man AI, and it says, and obviously, if you didn't watch AJ's video, which you probably watched AJ's video, it was a Pokemon Sword and Shield review.
Yep, which is rare. We don't do those here
really
usually, but like when it's a game that matters, dude, sure, why not, man?
True.
You know.
So Blind Man AI says, now that the game review is out of the way, I'm looking forward to AJ's unstoppable team, and Mon recommends. And Parker, you are a Pokemon champion too. I know it's way too early, but I'm also interested in what y'all's take is on PvP. Cheers.
You know what? It's not too early. It's coming Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. YouTube.com/Fanatics4. I'm gonna make a video. I got to do a lot of capturing. I mean, both in Pokemon and actually footage of that process. I'm currently like halfway through that process. I have like 3 Pokemon that are viable. I just gotta. I have like a lot of the different, because I have gold bottle cap, which I explain all that stuff. Not doing it here.
I accidentally sold a bottle cap the other day, and I was like, oh man, because they put it in the treasures section.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but everything else in the treasures section is just sell it, right?
Nope.
Or is that not true?
They got fossils in there too.
I didn't sell. I have a like rare bone, and I was like, that's not related to...
I don't think the rare, but I think you can sell the rare bone.
I figured, but I wasn't sure, so I just didn't yet.
But the fossilized dino and fossilized fish and all that crap.
So I sold that bottle cap, and I was like, man, but there you go.
Rip, dude, that's a perfect stat down the drain.
I know.
Man.
No kidding. Go on. So PvP.
I'm going to talk about that on the video.
Nice. I, on the other hand, have done none of it so far. So there's that. But I've been playing the game and it's fun. Moving on. Next comment. Thank you, Blind Man AI. Or maybe it's Al. I
thought it was Al, but like I just assumed that the font on your computer made it more clear than mine, and I was like, he seems pretty sure that it's Al.
Oh, hang on. So, we're gonna go with Times New Roman. Oh, it is AI. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Look at that. Thanks, Serifs. You're helping us out. For being good at your jobs. All right, moving on. Gilberto Caldera said, in my opinion, Sword and Shield are decent. If they were 3DS games, they would be phenomenal. But for a full-on Switch game with plus $20 compared to the 3DS titles, it's just another simple cake recipe on a console where series are getting full-on shakeups and total rethinking of their ideas. This game simply screams for more development time. Hopefully next gen they have that time, and there is a mouse cursor in the credits. Just saying. The worst part about it is that Pokemon could be much, much more, and they don't give the resources to fully develop the series.
All right, so I agree with some of this. I disagree with the sentiment entirely. I disagree that because this is a Switch, because this is $20 more, that it needs to be an entirely new and like way bigger experience, because you're not accounting for the extra development time and resources that are required just for that transition alone. Like if all they did was took Pokemon Sun and Moon or X and Y or whatever, and then moved it over to Switch, or even develop those games for Switch, it would be way more expensive for them to do. And that you can look up any development behind the scenes from developers in the early days of like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and all that stuff, when they were moving over from PlayStation 2 and GameCube and like all those generations. Standard definition to high definition is a major leap. And like I said in the video, 3DS, DS, Game Boy, all that stuff is sub-standard definition. It's less than 480p or even 480i. So for them to move from developing for a console that is 480p, less than that, actually, in the case of 3DS, to a console that's 1080p, that's a huge jump, and it takes a lot more resources to get right. And it's more than just making the assets. It's making the assets work in their engine and having their engine be optimized and changing all the... It's way more work than you would assume it is. It's not just putting a 3DS cartridge in the thing and then changing a couple of things on the, like typing some stuff up, right? It's way more work than you think it is. I think that they can do more, and I think that they should expand on Pokemon and all that stuff, but it's not as simple as just saying like, well, I guess we're making the Breath of the Wild from scratch, you know, like we're just gonna completely go full bore into the best game you ever seen in your life, right? Like it's going to take them to have experience, because even the developers of Breath of the Wild had a ton of experience, and even between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, they did a ton of games that tested the waters of like, okay, well, how much can we change, and how do we want to change it, and what do we like, what's replaceable here? So it's just not a fair. I completely understand criticism. I don't think it's a fair criticism to say that they should be completely reinventing Pokemon just because they're charging $60 for the game.
Which is, I think, like, go ahead.
I think that what's here is worth $60. Easy. I think that the problem is Breath of the Wild is also $60, but it's worth more than $60 significantly. And people don't want to talk about that end of the spectrum of like, they can say like, this game isn't worth $60, but again, that's like obviously worth more. They're not going to admit to that. They're not going to say like, well, Breath of the Wild is $100 or whatever, right? Like that's just a slippery slope. I think that's a bad precedent to set, to say, well, this game doesn't have as much content of this game, so it shouldn't cost the same. Because if that's the case, then where's the higher end of the spectrum? Yeah,
I think, and it's funny hearing that from you too, just on the front that like, it's not funny in a bad way, but like in that you mean it, because for the longest time, you've been the one arguing for like, change the battle system, don't have random encounters and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But I think the point too of the number of people that in comment sections years prior to this, especially before Let's Go
like,
Pikachu
don't
and Eevee,
do that. Just give us exactly. See,
like you can't get rid of random encounters. You can't have.
Yes. This game has been the most interesting, and it's just like a case study of what our outlook is on the videos that we make and how we approach our expectations and stuff like that, because I want all the same things that people are saying. I want them to reinvent Pokemon. I want Pokemon to be like the biggest deal, and I want it to be this major game. But I'm also realistic, and I know that doing that is going to take more than just saying, well, it should be like that. It's going to take time, and the only thing that stops me, or the fact that I like this game, is mostly owed to the fact that there are major strides forward. People don't want to admit to it, because of some of the stuff that they called to get there. But there are major steps forward, and I've been saying it since they revealed the wild area. I was sold on this game since then, because that's the only thing that I want. I want them to continue to progress forward. I don't need them to overnight have my dream Pokemon game, because again, I'll reiterate, that's unrealistic. But I do want them to change the battle system. I do want it to be much more like the anime, and have like all these I want the game to be more alive and more like tailored to you, of like your experience isn't this cookie cutter thing of like, you get the 8 badges, you battle the same gym leaders, you beat the Pokemon League, and then the Pokemon League you battle the same people, and then you battle a champion, and everything's great, you know? Like I want it to be more than that. but I don't think that it makes any sense to expect them to do that from Sun and Moon to that.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think they hear, kind of going back to what Justin said too, and just that conversation that day of like what criticism they do and don't hear, because I don't think it's as binary as, oh, people are still buying the game, so now they've figured out like, oh, well, we can rest on our laurels, like, and not really have to change anything. I think, they definitely heard all the bring back the national decks and all that kind of stuff. Like, they know that that's a thing, but I'm sure they're just, like wiping their brow off to like, thank goodness people didn't not buy it for those reasons. But I think that they still are
because
making changes.
The only thing that they accomplished with that, by not buying the game and say like, and that's just it, is it's like, okay, well, we made less money here, and it's even less worth. Because like, imagine if Pokemon Sword and Shield bombed, right? But because the bulk of the fan base is merchandise and stuff like that, and they make even more money through that. Than they usually do in comparison to the games. Then they spend even more money on the thing that people don't think is the most important part of the series.
And ironically,
you're accomplishing the opposite of that. And I agree with the like, speak with your wallet. If you don't like the game, don't buy the game. But it's not really going to, in this case, it's not going to accomplish what you want it to.
Right.
So like,
and especially because like, I'm curious, like we don't know the developers and stuff, but there had been talks and rumors of like behind the scenes, them saying like they wanted to do a Breath of the Wild, kind of like reinvent a lot of things, which frankly they did reinvent a number. Again, the wild area, overworld Pokemon, those kinds of things like are pushing things forward. There are obviously things that they had to sacrifice at the same time, but I wonder if the Bring Back the National Dex crowd had just specifically won, like it sold really poorly and stuff like that, then they would have heard, we need to stick to our roots, as opposed to like continuing to progress change. So like, I don't really know if how much percentage of like how much they would have liked to grow and evolve for this game, like their wildest dreams versus reality. Like maybe this was their wildest dreams or whatever. Probably not.
I think they make it very clear that they want to change more than they're changing.
Yes, but they're just afraid.
They need to, but they need to be measured
and also
about
realistic.
That. Yeah, they're realistically afraid.
Yes.
I would be afraid to go from one thing to the complete opposite side of the spectrum if I'm one of the most valuable properties in the world.
Right, exactly.
I wouldn't want to make a sweeping change like that out of nowhere either. But at the same time, if we're looking at Breath of the Wild, and at the end of the day, this is still a Nintendo thing. If Nintendo thought that it was all about sales and all the other stuff, and that was the thing that if companies actually thought like that, where it's like, oh, we're successful, so let's just rest on our laurels, Breath of the Wild wouldn't have existed. Because Zelda games always sell at the threshold that they usually sell. They're not Nintendo's most successful franchise, but they're consistent. They always sell well enough. So for them to make Breath of the Wild this complete shakeup, you would think that they were less successful than usual, but it's just not true. They were addressing fan criticism, and that's what they did. And even in Sword and Shield, they address a lot of fan criticisms. There's a lot of this game that in past videos I've said I want them to do X, Y, and Z, and they've done a lot of that stuff.
They haven't done Z.
They haven't done Z.
They definitely did Black and White, and they did Sun and Moon, but
exactly right.
And
but yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that I've said. I want you to do this. I want you to make breeding more approachable. I want you to make it possible for me to not have to do this long grind just to get a good Pokemon. They did so much of that stuff, and none of that is it's something that you can measure with sales. You can't say, well, we're not making enough money, so we need to make this and this and this easy. That tells you they're listening. And Pokemon, like, just by looking at like the competitive scene and like how much they support that in comparison to like something like Smash Brothers, where Nintendo's like, you guys, like, we'll sponsor a tournament or two maybe, but like we're not going to give money for prize pools, and we're not going to like really embrace competitive players, and we're not going to do, they don't do that stuff, but Pokemon Company does. So like that to me tells me that they listen way more than people want to believe they do. It's just it's not as easy as saying like, oh, well, the fans want it. The vocal fans want it. So let's change everything and little Timmy wants that plushie, but he's not going to get a new plushie until 2022 because they want us to make a Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on that.
I think
you have any thoughts?
I mean, I've said some of them, so it's. I mean, I think again, like you said, there's some good points in here. I think specifically in that comment, yeah, and even the end of the worst part about it is that Pokemon could be much, much more. I think that's absolutely the case, and they just don't give the resources to fully develop the series. I think the main resource, honestly, is time, and it's not something that they have grown to have more of available, like and just the way that it is. They've got 3 years max, and that's
right. It's time, and it's also how they fit into the machine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They're an important part of the machine because everything else is based around the games, but they're not important enough to throw their weight around and say, well, the rest of this stuff is not happening. Yeah. So like the games are going to have to wait. So like I think that the only way that they could do that is if something like Sword and Shield, which I think has the potential to provide the time or this cycle or whatever. I think they need to extend a generation. Yeah. So rather than to say like, we'll just go a couple years without Pokemon, they just support Sword and Shield for long enough with like ancillary stuff and like other, like DLC and stuff like that. That's done by like a small team or even like an external team, like a Genius Sonority or something like that. While they go all hands on, like wait until even like the Gen 4 remakes are done and have that team as well as the main Game Freak Pokemon team working on one game. I think that's the only real way that we're going to do it. It's still going to be like, we're still going to get Pokemon games at the same cadence because that needs to happen, but it's going to be done by a different group of people, and it's not going to be this like handoff, or it probably won't be this handoff situation, or they do a combination of that and also like staff up more, where they split up the development in this like Call of Duty, like like the 3 different teams working on one thing, and then they incorporate them into the existing team, so it doesn't become this thing of like, okay, well, we're going to give this whole new team and they're going to be in charge of the big game, and they don't even know anything about making a Pokemon game to begin with because they're new. Yeah, right. So it's just like there's stuff they could do, but it's not going to happen overnight. Yep. So I think what they need to do here and now is to extend this generation and give us as many Pokemon games on this engine with as many improvements as they can do to work towards the next thing. So speaking of next things, I'm going to go to the next comment. Willie Lane said, I jumped on after not playing since Black and White because I hated them. I love Pokemon. I love being in this world, but there is so many silly things, edited there, silly things that take me out of the game. Life after whittling an Onix. Like after whittling an Onix down to 1 HP, it said I couldn't even catch it. Not that it wouldn't listen to me like in a trade. No, I can't even catch it. I spent all my money on Poison League outfit. Oh, wait, okay, wait. Let's address stuff like this one at a time. I agree. I think that's dumb, but at the same time, I think you're partially at fault for that because the first thing they tell you when you walk into the wild area is that there are going to be Pokemon that are too strong for you to catch. So like, you just not paying attention at that point. And the game's very clear about like what you can and can't catch. It says like, this is a strong looking Onix. If it's a strong looking Onix, you can't catch it. It's not going to happen. Also, like, it's not like it's any different from any other game. They're just not like physically walling you off from catching that Pokemon in the sense that there's some random NPC saying you can't go here yet. I think that like the only real solution that they could do for that is to make them so powerful that there's no way that you can weaken them that low to catch them. But even then, like, you probably still, I don't know. It's just like, I think that in the sense of like world building, it makes way more sense for them to have all Pokemon integrated together and there to be moments like that where there are Pokemon that are too powerful. But for game balancing, it doesn't make sense for you to be able to catch Pokemon that are that powerful. So yeah, like I see what they're doing, and I think it makes sense. I think it's dumb how they go about doing it, but at the same time, they're upfront about how they go about doing it. So like, if you catch a Pokemon or try to catch a Pokemon that's too strong for you to catch, it's kind of on you at this point. If they didn't say anything, if this was like a thing that people just discovered, and it's like, that's why you can't do it, that would be stupid.
Yeah.
But they're very upfront about it.
Yeah.
So next thing.
Yeah, moving on. I spent all my money on Poison League outfit just to find that you can only wear the default one in the gyms. Like, why?
I agree with that completely. That's really stupid.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
where do you...
Thumbs down on that.
Okay, because I had never figured out where to even put those on or whatever.
You can. Yeah. They're just regular outfits, so like you buy them to wear them just like out and everywhere else, but in these challenges.
That is silly.
That is definitely dumb.
Yeah, I agree. And why did no one say anything? Like, the shop is in the gym, for goodness sake. Why can't Pokemon walk around with you? Why is there no Pokemon taxi animation?
That one's weird. I don't think they need to have an animation for that. I think that's probably a plus that there's no animation, because I just want to go to the place. Like, the animation is going to be cool the first time I see it, and then after that, it's annoying. Like, the freaking Dynamax animations and stuff like that. I can only say yeet but so many times, you know? Like, I saw him yeet the Pokeball the first time. I don't need to see it 30,000 more times.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there as far as like that kind of stuff just gets annoying. And there is like a little tiny core. Maybe the first time there should have been an animation is what I think. Is there's a place where you learn about it, and you know, like when you learn about it, they're like, here, fly around and come back here, or something like that. And then that time there should have been an animation, but every other time I think it's better for there not to be, because it gets annoying. And why can't Pokemon walk around with you? That
he said,
that I think requires a lot more QA kinds of things, among other things. And like, Pokemon do have walking animations, but some of them are really, really slow already. And like, even though in Pokemon Let's Go,
and then you also have to like,
there's a lot of just extra stuff with that. And especially if they're ones that like in a building, if they're really big, like that's something to take into consideration. And
they just go into their Pokeball, but even then it's like you got to animate that for every Pokemon in the game, and it's a whole thing. I mean, I agree. It would be cool. I would like to have Pokemon walking with you. The only complaint I have like that, and I'm upset I forgot to put this in the video, is that you can't pet your Pokemon in Pokemon Camp. That's stupid. I'm upset about that. That's dumb. I mean, even though, like, again, it's another thing that, like, I understand, because, like, they have to, like, develop around that and give, like, the Pokemon, for lack of a better term, like, hit boxes to say, like, oh, this guy's on fire. So, like, if you touch that, it's going to hurt, dude. Like, they got to do that all over again for another set of Pokemon. And that's like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, like, come on, man. Let me hit the Yamper, dude.
Some more things. Why do I have to wear a bike outfit? No. I don't like the Dynamax gimmick. Voice acting might be nice for kids. I'm sick of reading scenes aloud for them. Why are all the buildings so shallow?
I think voice acting would be cool. Yeah, I agree with that. But again, that's another development thing where it's like, it takes a long time.
Why can't I migrate all my cool old Pokemon home? That'll be the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's just nitpicking, but it adds up and takes me out of the game. Also, in 2019, I want to be able to join Team Yell and play through the game that way.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that I agree with on some level, but at the same time, I do see their side of it. It's not all like they're not doing it because they're being lazy or whatever, right? It's just. You know,
some of them,
things you got to cut.
Definitely, some of those things have more like better reasons than the other ones. I mean, for me, actually, we'll get to this later, but like there's voice acting, for example, is one. Somebody asks a Q&A, I think, about that kind of thing.
Even though like that,
I'll get into that later. But voice acting, for sure. But that's that comment. I hope you some of these things get better, or you don't care about them as much going forward, and that you enjoy the rest of the game. Or if not, thanks for commenting anyway.
It's fine. It's fine if you don't play it and you don't like it. It's cool.
7. Yanka, hey, what's up? Great review, AJ. I pretty much agree with all of your points, though haven't progressed too far into the story to be able to do a full review of my own. From what I've played in Shield so far, however, I'm really having fun. I've put in about 30 hours when typing this comment, and there's and that's only 3 badges in because I'm still messing around in the wild area where I'll be stuck for some time to come. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm especially grateful for the quality of life stuff in terms of menu navigation and streamlining for the competitive scene. I can't see this.
Oh, menu navigation. No, dumb. This is stupid. I'm going to rant for a few seconds.
Go for it.
I don't like. It's yet another game, and I'm cursed. Every game that I play a lot, it doesn't work on the touchscreen.
Oh,
stupid.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Also, sorting options for the Pokemon boxes. Yes. Even if it was just shuffle, if maybe there is and I'm missing it.
You know what I want? I want them to do. You know how like if you're on a Mac and probably a PC, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can do the right click and then you go to sort by, and then when you sort it, every time something new pops up on there, it'll be in a column.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah.
From there. Yeah. I want to at least be able to do that,
yes.
so there's not a whole bunch of gaps in my box.
That's when I say shuffle, I guess I mean the Pro Tools word shuffle, which is exactly that, which is just shuffle everything up so that they're all next to each other and don't.
Yeah, I thought you meant like literally shuffle. Like,
yeah, I realized
like
that after
just
I said
randomize them.
Yeah, so not randomized, but like just if they're all over the place, just like scooch them all together. Scooch. There you go. That's a better word.
Yeah, that's the official term.
Yeah, that's. Otherwise, like, there's definitely, like, again, having X be just the Pokeball, like, that's cool. I like that a lot. But as far as, like, the box menu stuff is a pain to me.
The other thing, I don't like the fact that there's no button to take me straight to my party.
Yeah, I could see that.
I would like it way more if Y was, like, to take you to your party or something. That would be great.
Yep.
That's probably it, actually. The party thing and sorting the boxes.
Yeah.
And the touchscreen. Those are my big gripes with that. But anyway, back to Beyond.
But yes, I can't see this becoming my favorite gen, but it's definitely top 5 so far, and I'm super excited to see what Game Freak comes up with next now that they've got their Switch legs. My favorite new gen so far, my favorite new Pokemon so far that isn't a starter evolution is Toxtricity. My Toxel had a quiet nature, so I got the low-key form, which just looks awesome with the blue and purple color scheme, my 2 favorite colors. I also think I
like the other one better. I like the color scheme. See, that's the thing. Like, I was talking to Chicapo in the Discord, and he said he doesn't like Sobble because of the color scheme. I couldn't care less about that. Like, that's the last thing I think about when I look at a Pokemon and say, that Pokemon looks cool. It's just like what the Pokemon looks like. Like, he could be in black and white for all I care, and he still looks cool. But yeah, I like the other one because he has like the taller mohawk. Yep. And it's just like it's single. I like that one.
I also have the low-key one, and I
have both.
Nice. Look at you go.
But just because I bred one, and that Modest is just better.
Yep.
So he's Modest.
I also think its electric and poison typing is very interesting, and the air guitar animation it does for special attacks is beyond metal. I agree.
Yeah.
I chose Score Bunny as my first starter, but traded over Sobble from Sword, so I guess I kind of cheated in that sense, lol. But Grookey will get the love it deserves when I finally get around to playing Sword, even if I won't...
Oh, so you're never going to pick it. That's what you mean.
Even if I won't actually use the one I pick at the beginning of the game, since I'm currently breeding a shiny.
All right, so second evolution of Grookey. Did we talk about this last time? Because we were like...
No, I don't think so. I mean,
you
and I talked about it somewhere else, but we didn't talk about it on the podcast.
Thwacky, garbage, dude. Worst second evolution. Worst one. I think Score Bunny peaks at evolution 2. He looks like a happy Sasuke.
He does.
But still Sasuke.
Did Grimhain post that? Somebody posted that in the Discord. Who was that?
I posted that in the Discord. Then I was like, that's a tweet. I'm tweeting that. Because I was talking to Chicapo, and he was like, oh, so, like, Drozile is freaking, he's emo. I was like, if anybody's emo, it's 1000% Raboot. He's the emo one. And he's like, yeah, but like his color scheme, I'm like, okay, but his mom just made him like compromise.
Yeah.
She was like, you gotta wear some bright colors, dude. But he still looks very like emo scene kid, like, get out of my room, mom, you don't understand me. So he 100% looks like Sasuke, but still cooler than what the heck, Cinderace. Cinderace looks stupid. He looks like a freaking animatronic. I don't like him.
Yep.
Freaking Rillaboom Most improved award, because he went through 2 generations just looking like trash, and then Grookey's slightly above trash. He's not quite there.
Grookey's pretty cute.
Thwacky, garbage. Like, Grookey is cute in the way that like a pug's cute, where it's like I kind of feel bad for it.
I can see that.
But yeah, and then I just like all 3 of Sobble's evolutions.
Yep.
I like Inteleon just because of like the inspiration and like how they realized that and how it looks like the spy cartoons and like that whole thing.
Yep.
Also I like his animations and stuff.
True.
So yeah.
There you go.
And I said before the game came out, I really don't care what Sobble's third of evolution was. I was still going to like Sobble the best out of the 3. I mean, it's a good thing that I like all 3 of its evolutions too, but that wasn't really going to change who I picked.
Yeah. Nice.
I have all 3, multiple.
Indeed, which I need to get one of some of the other ones from you.
We can do that after this.
Yeah, and then that's it from your video. So now comments on my video. Here we go. My video this week was on predictions or guesses for what would be announced at the Game Awards for Nintendo. So we'll see what happens. Starwolf said, if they announce xCloud on Switch, the internet will explode. Portable MCU collection and a real gaming tablet is a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yep.
True. I agree.
So I doubt xCloud would be announced on Switch now.
Yeah, not this soon.
But that's definitely not to say. I don't think we ended up talking about this last week, but like I think when they talked about xCloud in EXO, they left so much room open for it coming to Switch. Like their verbiage was like, "We want it to come to any device that you want to play it on."
Yes, and I mean they've been pretty upfront about wanting xCloud and Game Pass to come to Switch, and also upfront about they don't know when that's going to happen, but they want it to happen.
Yep.
So like if it happens in 2021, 2022. Whatever, I think at some point it's going to come to Switch.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, maybe I'd be a little bit surprised. I don't know, but like it would be great for the Switch if it came around holiday next year, just because then that would help even more kind of it stabilize alongside the new console releases coming out. So. But yeah,
and maybe that's exactly why they won't do it. It's like, hey man, we're friends, but we're not that good friends.
Right? Yeah.
Give us a year in the spotlight.
I thought about that as well.
Give it to you.
I mean, but then again, like I'm sure if Game Pass is on competitor platforms, I'd imagine they still do something like because like the Games Pass collection isn't the same.
But the other thing,
go for it.
The thing that we didn't have a news story about that could be a reason why we might get it sooner than later is Minecraft is Microsoft or Xbox Game Studios now their first million seller in Japan.
That's true.
So maybe that's reason enough for them to get Game Pass on there, even if, which would kind of suck, if it was only in Japan.
Oh right, yeah. So I think the thing too, like I wouldn't be surprised if when xCloud comes to like if it comes to competitor platforms and that kind of thing, that it just has a smaller library of games or whatever, where
like the older games,
which
or
just makes like Halo Infinite. If that, I mean, theoretically that's going to be on Game Pass because every first party Xbox game is coming, But so far the games. Or Games Pass on PC and Games Pass on Xbox isn't identical. Like I think now it's a lot closer. They added a bunch to the PC one, but it's not always the same. So I think probably they would just.
Well, it is in theory, because like it's not the same on your PC, but if you have Game Pass on PC, you can play Game Pass on your Xbox.
Right. Yeah. Well, I just mean in terms of like the library, I think is
like the games that you can like physically download onto your PC is not the same as the ones you could physically download onto your Xbox.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if it came to other platforms. There was just a smaller library of games there, but it was still there, or something like that.
Like I don't know. Maybe they just make it because like. Well, I don't know what maybe they can think of some like local hardware benefits to having Game Pass, but having Game Pass and then having a Switch is almost incentive to also have an Xbox, if you think about it. Because like,
how come?
I already have an Xbox and Xbox Live and Game Pass, if they bring that to Switch, I'll already have Game Pass, and I can just play Game Pass on my Switch.
Yeah.
So it's like something like the people that care about graphics more than I do, you know, like if they want to play it at home, just play it on your Xbox.
Yeah, that's true. Makes sense. So yeah, who's to say? But I mean, as far as this, I could see the Master Chief Collection coming even without Games Pass for some of that. I don't know. I'm not sure which of those games are from what platforms and stuff like that. I haven't looked into it too much, but I would think that they could get that running on Switch in some regard. Maybe not. I don't know, because I haven't looked into it, but it would be dope. So there you go. Thanks, Star Wolf.
Yeah.
Good comment. Next up, Gabriel, something like that, says, I need some Shin Megami Tensei 5 news. It's the only game teased at the Switch launch that has not released yet, and we don't even have a date. Not too hopeful for it, though.
We haven't even seen gameplay of that game yet, have we?
Nope. We got
just
an announcement trailer and then a like teaser trailer, cinematic kind of thing. But no, I don't think we've seen any actual like gameplay. So yeah, I mean, that's one of those that like if we don't see it in 2020, I think it's probably just rip Shin Megami Tensei. But
yeah, they started making that game in 2018 for sure.
So I mean, I'm curious. Yeah. Do you think this is the kind of game? Because I think like there definitely is a type of game, at least historically, that would get announced at or shown off at the Game Awards for the most part. Do you think this would be the kind of game that could? Or?
Shin Megami Tensei? No.
Yeah.
No.
The only reason I was thinking maybe it could is just because Persona 5 from...
Yeah.
But otherwise, that was the reason I didn't put it in my video. It's like, I just don't know if it would.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the game for that. Because, like, I mean, I guess, like, Bayonetta is, like, a super, like, Japanese, like, niche franchise.
But it's, like, an action game at the same time. So,
yeah, like, visually, like, with the type of trailer that they make, it's just a shooter, man. So, like, for them to, like, put that in the Game Award, it just makes sense.
Yep.
In the same way that, like, visually, Metroid Prime, just a shooter, dude. So, like, give us the trilogy.
True. But that said, hopefully Shin Megami Tensei 5 shows up soon for you and others, and Max as well.
Yes.
Ben Chalice said...
Max less so. He can wait.
What'd you say?
He's a patient boy.
True. Ben Chalice says, not really a question, but the Switch Lite is £200 in the UK, but $200 in the US. This is fine, but this makes the Switch Lite total uncompetitive with the secondhand Switches selling for just £20 more. $200 is just over £160, which could actually make an impact in the market. Just seems like an oversight from Nintendo. Would love to know what you think.
I think that's less of an oversight on Nintendo's end and more of just like an economic situation of like it's more expensive for them to like sell there, and there's laws and tariffs and all that type of crap that makes prices in different regions different, you know. So they can't have parity everywhere because they don't have infrastructure everywhere.
Another thing to think about too, I think both sides of this. So on one hand, also $200 in the US is pre-tax, so it technically is $220 like in Tennessee where I am, and some places it would be more, some places it would be less, but we've got 10% tax here, sales tax, whereas in most other countries, which is the way smarter thing to do, tax is already included. So £200 or €200 at a store is just £200 or €200, as opposed to here, which is dumb and stupid. But so that's one side of it, is it's not quite as much difference, but also I think probably it's based on market research as well to some degree. I'm sure some of it is, what they can do and any of that kind of thing. I mean, like what AJ was saying, but I think some of it even is just like £200 to them must have still seemed like that's a reasonable number that feels cheap enough. But yeah, even if the secondhand Switches are selling for just $20 more or whatever, secondhand Switches here probably, or £20 more, sorry. I don't know what a secondhand Switch here would be. Probably $250, I guess.
Yeah, somewhere around there, like $250.
You might be able to get it for a little bit less.
Might be, like if it's GameStop or something, it's going to be like $250.
Yeah.
If you're like looking forward to like on eBay or Amazon, you could probably get one for like $200.
Yeah.
Maybe $220.
Yeah, I bet definitely for $200 because GameStop itself the trade-in value is 175, I think, for an original Switch for a V1.
Yeah.
So selling it somewhere else, I think probably people would sell for like 200 something.
Because GameStop is going to be like, oh, okay, give us 175 and then we'll sell it for 250.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but yeah, interesting stuff. I realize that question doesn't really have anything to do with the video, but who cares? It's a good question to talk about. Moving on. Fear the Sting says, I think the fifth character will be Crash Bandicoot. I'm also sticking by my prediction that Amaterasu from Okami will also make it eventually, even though she'd be the fourth Capcom rep.
I think Crash Bandicoot trash. So like,
but do you think that means he's coming or not coming?
Nah, I think Nintendo's smart enough to know that Crash Bandicoot trash. Honestly,
and that Spyro should come instead.
I think I think Sakurai knows what's up. You know, I think Sakurai knows that Crash trash.
Trash.
Spyro going to be in it instead, or Parappa rather.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, Amaterasu would be dope because that's just a fun character and like it's fun to play as and all that stuff. So, but yeah, good thoughts. In any case, hopefully we'll find out what that character is. Anyway, I feel like Spyro or Crash is super likely to come eventually at some point. Maybe not, but like that and like Rayman, like those ones just seem kind of like eventually it's just going to happen kind of a thing. But I don't know about at this Game Awards.
Yeah, I don't know about. I think the only way that Rayman is going to happen is if they make a new Rayman game.
Also true.
I think Rabbids right now are more likely than Rayman.
Yep. And then the last comment is from Joji Nagaoka, who says, please let there be some Pikmin news.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
I don't know that this would be the place for it again.
Yeah,
but I would be surprised. There's been so many rumors about Pikmin 3.
What if they do like a freaking Pikmin laser show and they make it all hype, and then Omar comes out and he's like the hype man for the crowd, and like they do like a musical performance and stuff. It'd be great.
That's right. There you go.
And then a Pikmin gets shot in the trailer.
I mean, there's been a lot of rumors for a Pikmin 3 game. So like, I mean, a Pikmin 3 port over to Switch. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that early next year at some point. But yeah, I don't know. We will see. So good stuff, everybody. Now's the last part of the show where we go through questions and comments about just whatever you guys want.
Yep.
And then there you go. First of all, we go through just a couple comments from last week's podcast. Pulled 2. And one of them, this is from Casper3237, who said, and there you go, said, sorry, this is going to be a bit long. Number 1, as I've only played Pokemon Red, I'm excited to play Sword, but I'm way behind on the different mechanics, like having overlevel, traded Pokemon, not listening to commands. Would it be a good video idea to go over that mechanic and others that are not well explained in the game? Hey, look at that.
I mean, hey, there we go.
That's perfect. That's what you're doing next week.
Yep, sure is.
So yeah, number 2.
I don't know. Do you think it's a good? I don't know. I don't know if people will watch something like that. You know, I don't know if it's a need, and nobody's voiced it before.
Do it. Number 2, does transferring older Pokemon from other games count as traded Pokemon and follow that same mechanic listed above? Yes, it counts as traded Pokemon. Yeah,
if the original trainer isn't you with the same trainer number, it's a traded Pokemon.
Yep.
In the game.
Which, I mean, you on a different console would just think that was a different you because it wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like you with the same trainer number. Mm-hmm. That's in the Pokemon universe. You're only you if you got the same trainer number.
Mm-hmm. Are there any games where that's the same? Where like between the 3DS games, like could you have the same trainer number somehow in X and Y, or in X and then also in Moon or something like that?
I mean, I'm sure with how numbers work, it's possible, but it's extremely unlikely.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, good stuff. Number 3, do you think Nintendo will port over the older versions of Pokemon when they introduce Home so we can, quote unquote, caught them all and store them there? Or was that the plan the whole time?
No.
Not into, Sword and Shield specifically.
Yeah, no. Well, not Sword and Shield, but I don't think they're going to port. I don't think they're going to port the games to the Switch.
The older games. Oh yeah.
No. But you'll be able to, if you have the older games on your 3DS, you'll be able to move them over in the home.
Yep. I mean,
it won't be Sword and Shield. Some of them,
I could,
because the narrative was like, oh, you can't get like the starters and stuff. Like, you can get some of the starters through home. Mm-hmm. They just need to be through home.
Yep.
Like Squirtle. Mm-hmm. And only Squirtle. He can't evolve. Impossible. Because he peaks, And
then number 4, Casper says, I would put a Voltorb in my friend's pack, assuming that, because that was our last question at the end of the podcast.
Yeah,
assuming that it would be like the cartoon and just cause a stunning surprise rather than some serious bodily harm or death, which would be the case of an explosion in real life.
Yeah.
I do like how the anime, I mean, like in most cartoons, go about like, oh, things exploded. You're a little bit singed a lot of places.
Yeah, like Ash has been electrocuted. And I mean in the literal sense. But he's not actually dead, or is he? Because, there's a fan thing.
Oh, true.
Doesn't actually make any sense. But,
I mean, maybe it's like, pinching somebody in a dream kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Who's to say? There's that comment from last week. Thanks so much. And the next one, 7, Bianca, says, commenting later than usual, but just wanted to reassure you guys that I'm still alive in case you were worried. LOL. Actually listened while hatching some eggs in Pokemon Shield. No, I didn't get the bad one.
I didn't put Grimhane's comment in here for the thing.
Well, I can go get it now.
Dude, it's too late, man. Because we're already in Q&A. It was in the review, dude. Do you really want to go back?
No. We'll just.
I'm sorry, Grimhane. Rip, dude.
We love you, and
I read your comment. It's just not on the show because Rip, dude. Sorry. I apologize.
I did also in the comments that I pulled. I tried to pull specifically from ones where I didn't super recognize the people's names, so hopefully it's...
I try to do a balance. I try to get at least one person. I'm like, yeah, you're good for a good comment. And then other people that and then there's the other part of that where it's like, if it's a new person that I don't recognize, I'm sure to let them know I'm putting this in our podcast. I'll probably put just to let the person know I read this. If it's a regular, I'll say DTY because they know what I'm talking about. That's that's how the sausage is made.
That is sausages right there.
Yeah.
So I was just finishing off. Bianca had just mentioned that Pokemon Shield was the good one and Pokemon Sword was the bad one.
Not true. False.
And said, I got both, but decided to do Shield first because I like Galarian Ponyta and Alistair and will probably spend more time in Sword anyway. That makes sense. Hope you guys...
Yeah, because swords are objectively cooler.
Swords are 100% objectively cooler.
Objectively cooler.
Hope you guys have a great week. Remember, I still love you, even if I'm not always around. Well, thank you. Likewise, indeed.
Ditto,
I mean, and I will say, especially of our regulars, if there's a regular that I haven't seen around in a while, I'll fairly often think to myself, oh, I hope they're doing all right. Like Mark Andrews commented a couple weeks ago on the podcast and said something to similar effect of hey, I'm still around. And I was like, oh, good. I was wondering how you were doing.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm just trying to avoid spoilers. But future reference, man, we will literally never spoil you on anything major, because we don't even know. Especially when it's leaks.
True.
We don't even look at that stuff. And I'm making a point to in the review, I was like, I'm not spoiling nothing. I'm not doing it. There might be a clip or something in there that's from later in the game, but it's not going to be a story thing that spoils anything for you.
Yep. True. But yeah, that's it from the comments from last week that I pulled. We've got some questions from YouTube community, and I'd only pulled one, and then all of a sudden 3 more showed up while we were recording this, so I'm going to read them as well. All right, here we go. Just going to go through. They're not in the doc, so you won't be able to see some of these. David Figueroa said, when do you think Mario Kart 9 could launch? 2020? And what features do you think it could feature? I would love more characters from Nintendo and third parties and track builder like in Smash, or a really unknown PSP game is known as Mod Racers.
I don't know. We're in uncharted territory right now.
We are indeed.
Because Mario Kart Port is currently the best-selling game on Switch, which could mean two different things. It could mean, hey, let's just ride this one out, dude, literally. Or it could mean like, hey, if a Mario Kart Port is the best-selling game, imagine what a new Mario Kart could be. So like,
yeah,
go either way, man.
Go ahead.
I think that either one would be good. You know, like I think that at the very least we need some new content for Mario Kart. I keep getting ready to call it Mario Kart Tour, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yes.
If we get new content, that'd be great.
Would.
Maybe I'll play it then. Even though historically in Mario Kart 8, I like the new courses less than the old courses because I don't know the new courses and I don't play the game enough to learn them, and I never will.
As long as the new courses are better than most of the new courses in Mario Kart Tour, the actual app and stuff, like they made new ones for the game. There are reverse courses and there are turbo courses, which are like the same ones, but they added stuff to them. Those are generally dope and those are great. And I enjoy those a lot. The ones that are legitimately like the new ones, a lot of them have kind of sucked. Like when it was the Tokyo Tour, the Tokyo course sucked. The New York one was fine, but mostly sucked. The Paris one was a little bit better, but also not great. So, but I mean, I love Mario Kart and it's good and great and stuff. I'm on the bandwagon of, I think they're just going to hold off at this point until it's the launch game for the Nintendo Swap. Like that's, I feel like it's still the fastest selling game, or, you know, it's, besides like new games that come out in a quarter, it's the fastest selling game that's like the evergreen title in a quarter. So I don't know. I don't think they have a whole lot of incentive right now to do that. So they've been known to hold on to games for a while, and I could see them doing that here as well.
Like Pikmin 4, dude.
Yeah, man alive. So yeah, good question. But yeah, they should definitely add some more things because it would be dope. Arlo just made a video. I didn't watch it, but I saw that it was there about having Nintendo Kart. So like that's an idea too of going that route, but whatever. Who's to say? Never
heard anybody say that before.
Yeah, exactly. It was just relevant. So sometimes I feel like if I don't cite my source from a relevant thing that like most recently made me think of it, people will be like, oh, you said that, but that person just said that. You're taking credit for it. And like, taking credit for things that people didn't do is like one of my strongest pet peeves. Here's a side story real quick, tangent.
Yep.
High school. I was sitting in high school assembly, which was like, or like once every 2 weeks, we'd have some sort of presentation-y thing. And I was sitting next to my friend James, and somebody said something on stage or whatever. And I turned to him and I was like, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, that's hilarious. And then proceeded to turn to the girl next to him and say the exact same thing, the exact same way. And I was like, dude, don't do that. So
don't do that, man.
Yes, that is a thing. Continuing on.
Yeah.
GK Dope Esquire said, if you had a potluck for Thanksgiving, with characters from Switch games as guests, who would you invite because you think they'd be great at a party? Who would you invite because you think they'd cook the best?
Okay, all right. Okay.
I'm gonna go cook the best first because I feel like maybe this is an easier one to like kind of knock out. Link from Breath of the Wild may be a fun addition.
No way.
He's got some nice cookbooks at this point.
No way. He has all sorts of dubious food.
I mean, yeah,
dude.
But he's got that all out of his system, you know.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he does. Because there's all new types of food in our world, dude. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know, but
he has to experiment and try stuff out. And
that's why he'll be on the cooking team. He's not going to be the only person, but like he can watch the other people learn some things, and then by the end, he'll like make the best dessert. He'll make monster cake or something.
Also, like, what, we're going to freaking give him a wok in a fireplace?
Yes. Absolutely.
So like that's how he's going. But like, and then he's going to just grab all of it and throw it in there and hope for it to jump and say, "It's standing still. What do I do?" No,
so that's
Link's
one option.
Bad guest,
Who
dude.
else?
He's a bad guest. People in Fire Emblem know how to cook, right?
They do.
Who's there's like somebody.
Oh, Pyra.
There's multiple.
First of all, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that's like one of her things is cooking. So
we can invite her.
Yeah.
We'll invite Pyra. Does Brock count? He's in a Pokemon Switch
that
game.
counts. 100%.
Brock. I'm inviting Brock, dude.
Yeah. And then for one more, there's the cook in Kirby, right? That's a character, like the guy who like throws stuff in there.
Yeah, but
That's
he's like a bad guy, kind of.
yeah, but
so
I mean,
like,
he could cook, I guess.
yeah, but like he'll try to kill us.
But as long as he makes good food, I'll just like avoid his death.
True. I mean, like, I guess that's like kind of McDonald's if you like McDonald's.
That's true.
Yeah, you know.
Who would be good guest at the party though? That's the real question.
Good guess at the party. Most of the people I'm thinking of are like Fire Emblem characters.
Oh, Raphael for sure then from Fire Emblem. He would be dope. He's the best.
Yeah, I would say Claude, but like he's still kind of sketchy to me. I don't really like him.
Yeah, Claude.
He's not up front. You know, he made me think he was evil, but he's not.
He's not.
But like maybe he is.
Yeah,
dude.
he used to say.
You don't know. We haven't seen Fire Emblem 4 Houses, dude.
Kirby maybe would be entertaining because like
Would Kirby be like
he does
Kirby
like
would be,
impressions,
like,
you know?
Yeah, Kirby would be entertaining in the way that like if somebody brought their dog, like their puppy, they got a new puppy, and it's like everybody's excited about the new puppy, but like it's still a puppy, dude. It's still going to like freaking pee on the floor and stuff. You don't want Kirby to pee on the floor.
Kirby said that. Yeah, I don't know. There's some good ones somewhere. You got a last one before we move on?
I'm going to invite Yamper because that way I can pet him.
Classic. Finally.
And I guess he'll pee on the floor too.
That's true. Yeah, continuing on. Griffinix asked, if you were in charge of Nintendo, what would be the first thing you would do to change to better help it out?
I would give Game Freak some EPD devs. First of all.
True.
Second of all, I would tell them to use more of their IP.
That is exactly the comment I was going to say.
In current games, like,
yeah,
use more.
Yes.
You got a ton of them, like way more than literally any other studio. So like, use those in new games.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just experiment with those. There's been a back burner video that I've thought of that's sort of along those lines. And it would just be fun because then you do that. That's my answer.
See, that's the thing. Like we could never actually make a video like that, where it's like what I would do if I ran Nintendo for a day, because that's literally just our channel.
Oh yeah,
it's like a bunch of stuff that like if I ran Nintendo, this game would be better in this way. You know?
Yep. And then the last one from YouTube community, Crazy Derp asks, how do you guys feel about the Pokedex? Is it too much Gen 5, or is there a good mix of Pokemon from all gens? And which Pokemon did you see that you forgot it existed?
It's a good mix. I think I'm too big of a Pokemon fan to even think of a Pokemon that I saw that I was like, I have never seen that. What is that? I think somebody else asked me that question, or it was like a poll or something like that. It was like, what's one Pokemon that like got cut that you like don't care, or like that's still in that like or whatever. And also when I was making a video and I wanted to make that joke about like if a Pokemon got cut, I was like, what even is a Pokemon that like isn't in this game that like I could see getting cut?
Ironically,
like,
Trubbish is in here, which I think is so funny.
No, I don't think I said Trubbish because Trubbish was already in.
Oh yeah,
Trubbish was
but I just meant
beforehand.
like because back in the day we were like, who cares about National X? Like, sure, Trubbish isn't going to show
like
up
that
here.
was like before. Yeah. Freaking I say Quillfish. Quillfish is in the game.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not really any Pokemon that I'm like, what is that? I think it's
Flaffy
well
and
though.
all of them in the game. I don't think so.
Oh, you mean like Marie, Flaffy,
yeah,
and
Ampharos?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any.
That's kind of surprising, just considering Wooloo and UK and all that kind of stuff.
You know what? He would be a pest in this ecosystem. He would murder all the Wooloo.
I will say this. As far as like, again.
See, at first, okay, wait. I gotta say.
Yep.
At first, I thought Wooloo was best sheep and Mareep could kick rocks, dude. Mm-hmm. But Dubwool is garbage.
I think Dubwool is cool. I like the whole like half damage from physical attacks thing.
I don't care about that. I just
just as
I'm
like a
looking
design
at-
thing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just aesthetically trash, dude. Like, why couldn't he just stay Wooloo the whole time?
I think I like just enjoyed certain, like that was why I was really excited when I found out that Corvus Squire and what was its first
Rookie
T, that those evolved into Corviknight, because I really liked the whole Hone Claws power, whatever it was called, power thing combination.
Did you also, when you saw Rookie T, did that connect for you immediately?
I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting that there's a different, like, I don't know if this is going to be Corviknight, but I hope it is.
Yeah, because I didn't even consider that.
I thought about it for sure because of them being Corvids and stuff. That was it.
Yeah. And then when it evolved into Corvus Squire, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, 100%.
It was like the dead giveaway. I was like, all right.
Dead giveaway. But again, I, having missed out on several gens, there's been a bunch of Pokemon that I'm like, oh, I got that one. That's pretty cool. I feel like maybe it's existed before. And pretty much every time I thought that, I looked it up and I was like, yeah, sure enough, that's from like Gen 6 or something. But several of them I just wasn't sure, because I'm just going through and all of my main Pokemon, I'm leveling up all of the Galar Pokemon and then putting everything else in a box to just do jobs and hang out and do their thing, but not actually using really at all. But I'll go back to them afterwards and do more stuff with them. But it's just funny because I'm all the time I have to look up, like, is this one new?
Yeah, it's even more of that, like, because for me it's like a lot of this game, and also because of like the overworld situation, and like I said when I was like, they need to put that back in and keep it there, it's so hype when you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a hype moment, and it wouldn't happen otherwise.
Yep.
I'm still after having beat the game like 70 hours or something like it in it so far. I'm still at least one per day and running into a Pokemon that I've never seen in my life.
Yep.
I'm like, what the heck is that?
That honestly, yeah, I love so much that they didn't show off all the Pokemon, because even the Route 1, I was like, oh, cool, whatever that is. And like, if we'd seen all of those, Route 1
even when
boring.
the game first started, the opening cinematic with the freaking elephant boy, I'm like, and I don't even like that Pokemon. I think he looks stupid.
I agree.
But I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, totally.
His third evolution is better, much improved. But I still wouldn't say, like, I'm putting that on my team.
Kind of random that it's Steel type to me. Maybe because I haven't evolved it yet. So, but nevertheless. So yeah, that's questions from YouTube community. Now we're moving on to Discord. We've been hanging out a lot in the Discord recently. Well, and specifically you guys have. So we've had people to talk to. So if you want to just hang out and talk to some people about all this stuff, go to the Discord. It's fun.
Also, if you want to do max raid battles, I mentioned it in my video, but like, that's a thing. Like, that's a legitimate thing. Yep. Like, I see people at least once per day being like, all right, it's time to do raids. Let's do the raid battles.
Yep. So there you go. Questions from Discord. 2DS asked us, this was earlier in the week, but asked who would be the next Smash character and why is it Strong Terry from Katana Zero? Probably Strong Terry from Katana Zero.
Yeah, sure, why not? Sure, why not?
There you go. Curtis Nerdspot, which is Curtis Merthew. Curtis, what's up? Said, question for the podcast. How do you think your channel is going to be affected by the new YouTube changes coming in December? Which is COPPA, which somebody else, Squantle also asked, how will the new COPPA regulations on YouTube affect Fanatics 4 and directly to you moving forward?
I think it will be very little, if at all. Yeah. Because we already have like, behind the scenes stuff. Freaking like the Nintendo situation and stuff like that. Like, you understand on some level how that works, but we already have regulations that we have to adhere to and like policies and like that sort of stuff with them. And now even beyond that, we're starting to have a budding relationship with Pokemon Company, and they require us to adhere to that stuff. So it's not like we're not in violation of anything like that. We don't really fall under kids content. So we don't, it's not going to happen. Like, just because YouTube on a systems level, they make mistakes a lot. We might have some videos where they file it as for kids or whatever, but we would be able to clear it up relatively easily. Just by going through those different channels and saying, yo, like, have your people talk there. And also we have MCN and all that stuff. So I'm not really worried about it.
I think from the little bits and pieces or from everything I've seen about it in any case, with the language of it being sort of vague, it seems like one of those things where like it's kind of all or nothing. Like either they screw literally everybody over and mess everyone up, which I don't think is going to happen, or we're fine. That kind of a thing. Yeah. Like,
and there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be people that get screwed over that don't apply, but it's going to be very few people. And that's why it's going to be a big deal. Like there's two scenarios where people getting screwed over in this COPPA situation is going to be a big deal. Either because it's rare and it never happens, or because it's happening to everybody. Yeah, right. And like, I guarantee it's going to be the first option, but it's going to feel like, oh, I'm in danger because it happened to 3 YouTube creators and I saw people retweet it on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, I think that it's a little bit overblown. I think that they do need to be more upfront about it. I think it's hard for them to be upfront about it because, like, people again, like they twist like legal language to be like this, like predatory thing, which it can be, but for the most part, it's to protect yourself against things that are hard to account for when you make the standard or the law or the rule.
So it has to be to some degree really specific and to some degree really broad, where it's like so that it's a catch-all for like anything that's unexpected within this category of thing we can account for and do something about and have justification for. But that doesn't mean they're going to do something about everything in that at the same time, which is a tricky place for sure, especially not having precedent of what they're going to do or whatever, but we'll find out. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, it'll be kind of as we're expecting, but thanks for caring about it, guys. And I think we know that if it's going to affect everybody, there's millions of people that are going to speak up and be like, yeah, that's really sucks. So
yeah, if it affects everybody, then again, we're going to be fine in the long run because it'll be straightened out, because they're not going to, like, if freaking PewDiePie and all, like, if the top 100 creators, if even a 10th of those are affected by this, there's going to be problems.
Like Game Theorist, for example, is like, that's a channel that they have bright and colorful thumbnails as well, and it's talking about kids stuff and theoretically because video games and all that. Like, if they get affected by it, like, that would be a huge deal, you know.
See, and that's the other thing that people aren't addressing is a lot of the creators that are making videos that's like YouTube, a lot of it clickbaity, YouTube's going to delete my channel, or this is going to be huge for me, or this is a big deal, or I should be scared about this. A lot of them do have different audiences than we do, where the bulk of them are younger than our audiences. We're not Arlo. So we don't have the audience that he does, where I would assume at least 30% of his audience, if not more, is 13 to 17. That's not the case for us. So it's just like, there's just a lot of things that, like, the situation is significantly different for us than it is for the bulk of the people that are really worried about this. And also there's people that are worried about it because they're worried about anything when a corporation does anything that is like not exactly what they want them to do or whatever. Like, there's always going to be fear mongers. There's always going to be people that are like more apprehensive or cynical than what we are, you know?
Yep. Agreed. Moving on to some other things. Chicapo asks, you guys ever done directly to you about Amiibo since Switch?
Not specifically about Amiibo.
And we were actually gonna put in we were gonna put in a topic about it today, and then we didn't for various reasons. Partly because
it would be too long. Yeah, it's too long. This episode's probably already like on the cusp of being amongst the longest ones, I think.
Yep. So all that stuff, but yeah, so we didn't. But we're thinking, like, if it makes sense, we might make a video about it at some point like that. So we'll find out. We'll just kind of see how that plays out. But if not, we might throw it in a topic in another upcoming week when it's kind of slow. So thank you, and we will let you know. And then also asked, are you satisfied with the decks?
Yep.
I have many hundreds of Pokemon still to run into, so I'm good for a while.
See, the thing is, like, I want it to be a balance of, like, I want there to be enough Pokemon so that there's variety. I want it to be not too much Pokemon so they can balance it, and also so I can actually complete the Pokedex.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm more than halfway there, I think, of the main Pokedex, which is good.
True. Yeah, so that's stuff. Mega Man 87 asks, who's the best member of hashtag Spy Squad?
You know what? I'm going to say Mega Man, dude, because Mega Man he's the closest thing that we got to a British person in that group, you know?
Funnily enough, geographically, that's not even close to true, but
yeah, but I mean,
origin-wise,
in terms of like, yeah. I mean, like, as far as like the accent and like how people like think of like British spies and like all that stuff, and Max wasn't a part of the Spy Squad, so just inherently that means Mega Man is the most spy.
That's what's up, man. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Also, like, I would respect an Australian spy more than I would an American one.
He's New Zealander, you crazy.
Oh yeah, freaking I knew it. I think I said New Zealand in the beginning.
Maybe, but just now you said it wrong. So I'm getting on to you so that he doesn't have to.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I knew that.
Lose his
love.
It
was New Zealand. We had this
friendship.
conversation. We were in the Discord call. We talked about this. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Chicapo, more questions asked. Going over tourist? Yes. I talked about it at the beginning.
We did.
So there you go.
Actually, no, we're not, because we did already.
True. And then asked, will Parker and Grim play Smash 1v1 before Christmas? Which Grim himself answered, probably not. And probably not. But at some point, I think we're
one of these days. It's not a super pressing priority, but it'll happen one of these days.
Indeed. One of these,
maybe closer to like whenever the 5th DLC character drops.
That makes sense.
I'll probably like stream Smash Brothers more often, and then in one of those streams we'll do it. It's not going to be like this huge big deal. I'm not doing like a stream dedicated to that. But like,
it'll be a very short stream.
Yeah, exactly.
We just both simultaneously SD 3 lives, and we're like, well, there was that. Not really. I'm not that bad. Speaking of Grimhane,
I wouldn't know.
Here's some. You wouldn't know. It's so true. Grimhane asks the following multiple questions. Number 1, what features would you like to have seen in Sword and Shield that weren't there, and which did you think could be improved on, and how? I'm going to answer this one real quick. Voice acting, 1000%.
Yes.
I understand not having the player character voice acted, again, like Breath of the Wild or like lots of other games, but even Fire Emblem being a great example. Like they could have, I don't know about resources wise, time wise, whatever, I don't know. But just in terms of like, there's so many languages, blah, blah, blah. Like they could have gotten voice acting in there, I think, if that had been a priority, which I think it just wasn't.
Yeah, they needed to decide that way early on in the process if that was something that they wanted to do. We know why they didn't do it, because to them it was like decisively not a Pokemon thing. Right. Like how a lot of people in the comments are like, that's not Pokemon, that's just a Pokemon, that's just a game with Pokemon in it. My second least favorite comment, right behind but yeah, I think voice acting, I agree with that. I think next time around they need to do that, or by next time around I mean like next generation, possibly with Royal Sword and Shields. Voice acting. Yep. Also the Pokemon following you, that'd be neat too. But
would be fun. But yeah, that's
as far as like can be improved on, Wild Area. You know, make it bigger.
They said this is the size of 2 Breath of the Wild regions or whatever. It's if so, it's like the 2 smallest regions, I feel like. Yeah. Then again, also you're riding around on your bike and it's only flat, like, so you do get across it quicker than you would in a Breath of the Wild, where you can have a horse or a motorbike, but you're usually on foot and you get stopped a lot more. So it probably feels smaller in that way, but no, still it's somewhat bare bones, but it's still an improvement to have it in the first place.
I disagree that it's bare bones. I feel like Breath of the Wild, in terms of like the
world, you guys were talking about this in the Discord before.
I feel like the world of Breath of the Wild, there's less action actually like less things to actually do there. Like there's the what, like 6 or 7, maybe 10, maybe different actual types of enemies. Yeah, and then like you'll fight them, and then there's like different things that you could do with like, oh well, I'll try using the stasis rune on this in this way. Like there's a lot to do in that sense, but all of that is just experimentation for the sake of it. Whereas the wild area is actually like a core mechanic to the game.
I think,
right?
yeah, I think I'd say in Breath of the Wild, the world itself is more puzzly by nature. And I appreciate that. I think that makes it feel more full because it's like more areas of the world are like, oh, that was like, I didn't know that was a thing, but that's a thing. As opposed to, I mean, yeah, but they're definitely different in that kind of sense, but there's more literally to do, I guess, in the sense of like there's always going to be a Pokemon you can run into no matter where you go, whereas you could clear out an area in Breath of the Wild theoretically, like, and if you come back to it later, you might have more enemies there, and maybe more acorns and stuff like that, or fish, but you won't have maybe more puzzles to do there. But then again, the world's so huge. Like I love Breath of the Wild. It's so good. Next comment.
I just think it's a lot of like the main reason why like I don't play Breath of the Wild daily is because it's like you get to a point where it's like, oh, okay, I saw a lot of this already.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you'll see new stuff, but a lot of it would be a variant of what you already saw. Whereas like finding most of the Korok seeds is just like, instead of paragliding through that, I'm paragliding through this, or I'm jumping here, So.
But Breath of the Wild is the best game in the world. Yes. Are there any Pokemon you wish would have been in the game that weren't, bypassing AJ's stance of just wanting to use / see new Pokemon? Squirtle and that evolutionary line. That's it.
Yeah, but he's in the game though.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, Pokemon Home. You can transfer.
Oh, okay. Wait, I thought. Oh, for some reason.
Pokemon Home. You can transfer the 1st gen starters and the 7th gen starters.
Nice. Then I'm pleased. No, I'm good.
I don't know. My favorite Pokemon's in the game, so I don't care. Dude. Yeah, no, I don't know. Heracross?
Oh, yeah, Heracross is cool. Is Pinsir in the game or Scyther? Oh, no, Scizor isn't in the game. Those would be cool. I like Scizor or Scizor, whatever, Scizor.
How dare you?
I've always said Scizor. That was like just, I read it for the longest time, and
that's just like freaking Anthony Carboni. You know Anthony Carboni? No. He's like a games media person. He like hosts all the PlayStation stuff now. He works at like Star Wars or whatever. He freaking called Scyther Skyther.
No, what a mistake.
I'm like, what is wrong with this man? Questioned every opinion I've ever heard come out of his mouth.
Yep. Man. Moving on. Grimhane said, will Parker ever finish this game? Yes. It's going to take me more time than other people because of how I play games. But yes, 100%.
True. And a lot of people like he jokingly was talking about but MDB, like, because MDB is like, I'm the Pokemon guy. And it's like, yeah, in some ways. And he's like Bob's not going, like, our channels are different. So it's like Bob's channel is different in the sense that like the bulk of his stuff is just like impressions on hardware. So like playing the games isn't as important. He just needs to play enough to get an idea of like, oh yeah, this controller's fine. Whereas our whole shtick is playing through games, and we're much more of a like review, not like an IGN review, but like telling you like what we think about games and how they work and how we want them to improve and all that stuff. So like we need to play through games. Whereas like for MTB on the other end of it, he needs to play through games much slower and like show you the experience of doing it and stuff like that. And then with his Pokemon challenges, that's going to take him getting a baseline idea of playing through the game, which is why he needs to play it through slower, to then find out ideas of like, oh yeah, that's a neat Pokemon, I could rush through this with that, or that whole thing.
I did have an idea that I'll pitch to him because I know he's always got like a million ideas going on for runs, but I had one that I thought might be fun. So there's that. Next question. Given that Stadia has launched with subpar lineup of games you have to pay for, has had not insignificant reports of serious...
I'll add.
What?
Maybe you should do it with them.
That's an idea.
Maybe do it with them.
True. But yes, has had not insignificant amounts of reports of serious lag. Where's the negative latency, Google? And the more recent issues of the Chromecast overheating significantly. Do you think Stadia is doomed when facing off against xCloud and even PlayStation Remote Play? Quick answer on, I think Remote Play probably is going to keep flying a little bit under the radar unless they have...
Yeah, I think Remote Play is trash. The brief time that I've played games on Google Stadia before it was Stadia, it ran significantly better than literally anything I've ever played streaming. I think Xbox is positioned much better than anyone else to do a better job than Stadia does. I don't think it will be all that hard. And I think that the thing that killed or is going to kill Stadia is not how it runs. It's pricing model. That's literally the only like major like killing part about it. Like there's going to be performance issues. It's going to happen. There's performance issues with Pokemon right now. So like something like that is definitely going to have like latency
and also
and all that crap.
Not necessarily will kill Stadia, but I think will stop it from growing as much. Not what you said, but another idea of the hardware that it's on.
I think. Oh, you're saying like the hardware, like I think the pricing model will ultimately kill Stadia.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, I was saying like, and other additional things that aren't helping them is it not being available on at every single device. You know, like I think that should be. That's kind of, I mean, which again, they're still technically, really, they're in the like paid beta pretty much right now. Like, so we'll see how it is in a while.
Even more weird that it's not as it's so dumb.
And with the remote play though, I would say like, I think even if it were good, it's not really well known and marketed enough. They would need, I think, just a hard reboot of the market.
I think it's mostly not well known and marketed well enough because it's not good.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, xCloud I think is going to be the clear winner of all this stuff, largely because of Game Pass. So there you go. Yeah, good question though. And last question from Grimhane: pineapple on pizza or nah? That ish don't belong on pizza.
So I recently tried this. And my definitive answer is no.
Okay.
But like it wasn't awful, dude. But like it wasn't great either.
I had not tried it until Ashley's. I don't know if it would still be her favorite. I don't know if she's reevaluated in a while. But so my wife's favorite pizza was Hawaiian, and I had never tried it up until I met her when I was 21. So I tried it for the first time at that point, and yeah, that's great. I'm down. I like lots of very different things on pizza, but that is one of the things that I accept on pizza. I mean, it doesn't go with every other topping. Like there's a lot of other toppings that are more versatile for sure, and that's not one of them. But the times that it's good, I'm down.
I was over my brother's house, and I wanted food. I ordered everybody food, and I was like, yo, let's get food. I'll order it. And then it's like, you want pizza? And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, what do you want on the pizza? I was like, I don't care. Just order something, man. Yep. So I ordered pizza, and one of them was pineapple, and I was like, I'll try it, I guess.
It was just pineapple on the pizza?
No, it was like pineapple and like chicken.
Oh, interesting. Like, I mean, I can see that. But ham and pineapple is like the classic. Obviously.
Yeah, I want to put ham on a pizza, dude. I don't want ham. I want ham. If I'm going to do freaking, I'm put pepperoni on there.
I guess I'm not super picky with, I mean, there's like, I'm not a big black olives fan or really green olives
the thing
either.
That I was like the only thing that I said hard no to was freaking Alfredo sauce.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I'm
like a white pizza.
I'm down with that too.
Not doing that.
I think there's a lot of toppings that like, so black olives, for example, if it's like a supreme pizza that has like all the toppings on it or whatever, I'm fine with, they'll kind of get masked in there. But black olives by themselves are kind of like metallic-y tasting, and I'm not really down for that.
Hashtag Fanatics Foods, dudes. It
always comes back to Fanatics Foods, man, I'm telling you. But yeah, otherwise, like there's a place called Blaze's Pizza around here that it's kind of like a Chipotle of pizza sort of idea, where like you pick like I want that, and it's just like you pay a baseline price and then they put it in the oven. And I'm gonna recommend that we have that for dinner tonight. But like I went there last week or something and put a whole bunch of stuff on my pizza just because it's great and it's really good to do that. So There you go. Fanatics Foods, am I right?
Okay. Hashtag Fanatics Food.
And then we got 2 more questions. These are from Twitter, and then we'll be finishing up, which is it's about time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
First one from Bianca Wicks, who asked to paraphrase the weird guy in Bologna, who thinks it's okay to have this conversation with a 10-year-old. If a Pokemon had you in its mouth and a trainer threw a Pokeball at it, would you be caught too? What if you were in its stomach? What if you could fuse yourself with it? I assume this is about Crane Rant.
I don't know. I don't think I talked to that guy.
Is this not the... I guess I don't know that town yet because I haven't been there, but I assumed it was the Pokeball head guy, but maybe not.
Oh, the Pokeball man.
I don't know. Maybe.
But no, I don't think that's who she's talking about.
Gotcha.
So I think the anime answered this question. I think Pokeballs like hurt people, like because it was like Team Rocket. I think it was like Jessie or something. Mm-hmm. She was like holding a Pokemon, and somebody returned their Pokemon or caught a Pokemon or something, and she like got shocked or some crap. So I don't think you would go in the Pokeball. I think it would just hurt you.
I think it goes back to the game theory kind of thing that, or the whatever, like. Yeah, just the fan theory that Pokemon are actually like digital things or something like that. You know, they've got digital codes because they can be kept in a computer. So whereas people are not, which I mean presents its own canon problems. Where like, oh, what about that person that became a Pokemon or that person Pokemon that became a person or any of that kind of stuff? You know, crazy stuff. Because Pokedex issues are weird.
And the thing, there's like a lot of like interesting stuff in this game that people don't give this game credit for. Because like they're just trying a bunch of stuff that like, it's like, what if this way, like fusing Pokemon, like they kind of flirt with that a little bit in this game. Because you can fuse fossils and make freaking true abominations.
I have not seen that, but I'm curious.
Yeah, that's why you don't sell your fossilized things, because you can use those to fuse them on Route 7.
Okay.
I think.
Dope.
And make hideous creations
that still have names and are still like you can still fight with them and stuff.
Yup. But they're terrifying.
Oh man,
dude.
I'm super excited about that. Last question. This is from our buddy Max at Lootpots. Go to lootpots.com. This week I actually do have a question for you. He said, if you could have any guest on directly to you, whom would it be?
Oh, this is topical, dude. Reggie.
Honestly, yeah. That's, oh man. I was going to try to think of a better one.
How dare you even say?
No, well, I mean, I was going to just,
a better one.
I was just going to try to think of a good one, and then you said Reggie, and I was like, oh man. Yeah.
Reggie.
I feel like, and then I'm trying to think too, like who would be a super chill person to have on?
The worldwide famous Will Wolf. I want to have him on the podcast.
Yes, that is also good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Reggie's really good. I'm trying to think of like other YouTube people or something, and like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be fun to have all sorts of people on, but I'm sticking with Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie.
Let's say Furukawa. Let's throw him on here too. He speaks English.
Yeah, but then we got to get like a translator.
No, he speaks English, man.
Yeah, he speaks English, but it's not like that's not like his preferred. Like, you know, he's not speaking English at home, dude.
He loves speaking English at home. That's like his favorite pastime. He's like, hey kids, I love you and all, but let's speak English. So that's it for our podcast, guys. And a question for you. If you could have anyone on our podcast, who would it be?
If you could fuse with the guest that you want on our podcast, what would your name be?
Also true. And that's it from us, guys. We're going to head out now. It's been 2.5 hours of the most wonderful times of all of our lives. That's it. Thanks for checking in. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.